Just FYI, Dallas is going to make the finals. I would have said to the Ghost, I mean, it's a little unexpected, but it's not completely insane. Now you're looking at it as like, look at the West. The West appears to be wide open. So if you're Dallas, you're sitting there saying, why not us? We may have the best player other than LeBron in the conference.
Check out the Low Post podcast on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's live, it's local, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers.
All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. How are all of you? Welcome in. And one of those things outside, clouds, rain. Actually, I didn't realize how long of a stretch we had of beautiful weather, by the way. And I actually don't mind these little pop-up storms from time to time. I guess they're supposed to get some real some wind and some hail and all that stuff. So nonetheless, but
you can do it during the weekday, not on the weekends, though. Not on Saturdays.
I'll see. I'm the opposite. I want a Sunday morning rainstorm. I don't really have anything to do on Wednesdays. There's nothing better than, especially during the, if there's something really good on TV, like this past weekend was a hell of a weekend. If there was going to be a storm, that would have been the weekend to do it. Just watch, watching golf all weekend, watching the NBA playoffs. There's rain coming down. It's overcast. I don't know about you. I hate when the sun comes just glaring in. Some people love that sunshine. They love all that. Not me. I'm not a fan of that. Every once in a while, I mix it up a bit, but I'm just telling you, I love the overcast weather. It's how I can nap. I could sleep. I could relax. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So not a cold. I can't stand the cold, though, but not many people can. Have you ever met anyone that says, I love the cold?
No.
People say they love winter, but that's more because of the scenery and maybe Christmas and the feelings that come with that. But I don't think I've ever met anyone that says, man, I love the cold.
I love freezing.
Unless you live in Alaska, you're kind of forced to. So last week, I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Happy to be with you here on a Wednesday. Last week, we came across a story about the number 82 recruit, Jaden Blue, one of the best recruits for the class of 22, a running back, one of the top-ranked running backs in the class of 22, Kev. He's going to sit out his senior season of high school football in 2021 to prepare for college. And this is strange. And earlier today, Keith Byers hosted a show, and I was talking about this with him, and he just looked at me and said, because I remember we had this conversation last week, and I said, I've never been a high or an elite athlete to even understand what it's like to worry about, putting on your best performance during the high school football season while also being cautious of, hopefully you stay healthy enough to make it to your freshman season at Ohio State or Texas or wherever, I don't even care if it's Bowling Green, whatever it is, to, your post high school college football playing days. Mm-hmm. This is the first, I'm not saying it's the first ever, but this is the first time I've come across this where an elite athlete like Jaden Blue out of Texas is opting to say, you know what, I'm not going to play my senior high school football season because I've already, and keep in mind, you bust your ass during your high school football career or any athletics. It doesn't matter if it's softball, it doesn't matter if it's golf, at track and field, whatever it is. You bust your behind so that you can get recognized, you can get noticed, you can get that scholarship. Some people have to wait till, and we see it around here a lot, especially in basketball. It's like some guys will go into the tail end of the season and don't have any offers, or they have one or two limited offers, but that doesn't always mean that the scholarship is tied in with that. Keep in mind, people think that because you have an offer, it always means that there's a full scholarship with it. I've learned quickly after dealing and talking with different people that sometimes that's not always the case. They're offering you the opportunity to come play here, and that they'll give you the details on the scholarship and the money and everything else later. So I can't relate to this. I can't imagine just saying, you know what, I'm done, I'm not going to play. But I've also never been tempted to have something, a D1 college career waiting in front of me that I would have to contemplate whether or not it's worth it to me to play my senior season or skip it to make sure that I'm safe to go in there. So hearing Keith talk about this today, just saying absolutely not, he cannot imagine. Keep in mind, his last season at Ohio State, he had that injured foot, and he played the last 4 or 5 games of that season, his final season at Ohio State, with the banged up foot. In fact, he was drafted on crutches. He couldn't even, I remember he talked about how Buddy Ryan to the media kept calling him a medical reject. And that was his way of scaring teams off from drafting him. In fact, many believe that that's why Keith dropped to where he did, because some teams shied away from him because Buddy Ryan was purposely putting Byers' name out there saying he's a medical reject when all along that's who he wanted, which, by the way, that's why I wasn't so sensitive to the Justin Fields stuff this past year, because a lot of teams do that. A lot of teams talk bad about players to make people convinced that there's something wrong with them just so that they can benefit from having the opportunity to go grab them. Keith Byers is a prime example, but that's besides the point. But it got me to thinking, Kev, that when you start looking at the pro level and patterns that you see at the pro level and even patterns in the college level. We think, we look at the pros. What are some tendencies at the pro level that are different than the old school way that are now starting to trickle down into the college ranks? And we think that that's where it stops. And now we're starting to see it trickle down into the high school ranks now. Especially when it comes to something like this. I think of college right away. I think of, we do nothing but preach the importance of the college football playoff. If your team does not qualify for the college football playoff, your season's a failure and nothing else matters. No matter what bowl game it is, it does not matter. So we sit here and we criticize all the athletes. Not maybe we, but I'm not a big fan of the idea of you bust your behind all season long. You practice with your brothers around you. You're there every single day. And then just because your team didn't make the playoff, now you don't want to put the period at the end of the sentence. You just want to bolt. I'm not a big fan of that. But again, I can't relate to knowing what it's like to have a potential $1 million waiting for you or more when it comes to an NFL career. So I get it. But this is the first time in the high school level where I could see a pattern developing that has been trickled down from the college level. And that is, hey, if what I am doing and what I am playing does not outweigh the end goal of where I'm going, I'm not going to do it. I don't like the fact that this kid's not playing his senior season of high school, but you know what? If he's not going to be mentally invested into it because he's so focused on his college career, I guess I can kind of relate to that, or I can kind of understand that. But this is a pattern that has been put in the minds of these young high school kids coming up, because it's not just 1 year of guys opting out of bowl games. This has been almost a decade. It's been a lot longer now. I mean, even before the playoff, we started to see a little bit of this, of guys opting out. So now these young kids who are third, fourth grade, they're watching college football. They start to see it. They're not thinking about it, but they see it. And then the next year they see it. And then all of a sudden they're in high school and they see it. And they're like, that makes a lot of sense. Why would I play? And I'm curious people's thoughts on this. Why would you, if you as a junior have committed to play at a school, why would you play your senior year then?
Right.
Why risk it? You play your whole entire high school career to get noticed, to have a chance to go play at the college level. Well, if you're fortunate enough to land an offer, and you're fortunate enough to verbally commit early, and that's where you're going. Keep in mind, the pen's not, the ink's not dry. That's your end goal. Well, if you've accomplished that and that's where you're going, I guess I can kind of understand it. But again, it's all the same mindset. It's the trickle down. It's interesting seeing how that happens from the pros to the college and now into high school. And I'm just waiting to see when that pattern starts developing around here locally. We'll be the first big name recruit around here that just opts not to play their final season at Wayne. They have the kid that's going to Alabama, at Wayne or Trotwood, Springfield, Centerville. I've used a lot of GWalk schools, of course, except for Trotwood, because Trotwood kicked everyone's ass so bad that they couldn't handle it. So they kicked him out of the league. So shout out to everyone who couldn't handle Trotwood kicking their behind. But anyways, so that's where I'm at with that, Kev. I just find it interesting seeing the pattern now start to trickle down into the high school.
Oh, yeah, it's exactly what happens. We emulate what they do in the professional ranks. It was, I won't say started with LeBron James, but we'll use LeBron James taking his talents to South Beach as a point. I don't know how many times I've heard kids say that I'm taking my talents to the University of fill in the blank on National Signing Day. We remember guys coming out there with, pit bulls and saying, I'm going to Georgia. And now the new thing is, all right, I'm going to make an announcement on my social media page, and I'm going to have all the antics going on there, everything like that. So everybody that does athletics at the high school level, they emulate the guys at the college level, and the guys at the college level, they emulate what the guys in the professional ranks are doing. So it's automatically going to be a trickle down effect. Speaking of Jaden, I was talking to my best friend about this, and his son, his oldest, just graduated from Centerville. He was on the basketball team that won the state championship. His middle son is going to be a sophomore this upcoming season, plays football, basketball, and everything like that. So I asked him, I was like, so, hey, man, what would you do? He's like, it really all depends. It depends on what the kid is thinking about, because if the kid's heart isn't in it, that's how you find yourself hurt. Like, if you're thinking about, like, oh, man, I got this scholarship in the back of my head, maybe he's not going to go in there and make that tackle that he normally makes. Maybe he's not going to be running as hard. And when you're not running as hard, you get popped and bad things can happen.
And when you're playing not to get hurt, yes, that's more dangerous than playing full go.
So we talked about that. It's like, ultimately, as a competitor, 9 times out of 10, I will want him to play, but it ain't, I'm the parent, but it ain't my life. So the kid definitely has some say so, and then talk to, his mom about it and see where she's at and come to a family decision. But at the end of the day, you got to look out for home team. And if you got a scholarship in the bag, to The Ohio State University on whatever scholarship, track scholarship, basketball scholarship, or whatever, if you think it's best for you just to go ahead and chalk this senior year, it'll be a tough pill to swallow, not only for the family, but, we talked about this when we last week, where it's a situation where, hey, man, a lot of these kids, you've probably went to school with them since you were in elementary school. You probably been competing with these guys, hanging out with these guys, sleepovers, video games, doing God knows what with these guys. And then you got to go tell them and tell your coach that helped you get these. You didn't do this on your own. You didn't earn this scholarship on your own. You as a person, your will, your desire, and all those things helped you, but your teammates helped you get those. So you're going to have to be man enough or woman enough to go and tell your coach and your teammates, hey, man, I'm not playing this senior year, especially if you have a team that has potential of winning it all, because there's a ton of guys on the other team, on your team, that this is it. Their senior year, that's the last time they'll be playing football. That's the last time they'll be playing basketball. That's the last time they're going to be competing with referees blowing the whistle. And if you're the guy that's going to help everybody win this thing, that's got to be tough. I'm sure for Jaden, this wasn't man, forget them twos. That'd be all right. I'm sure it was some sleepless nights. I'm sure there was situations where one day he was like, no, I can't do this to my guys. I'm sure it was other days, man, I got to look out for myself because I don't know what happened. And once that's in your head, once that I don't know what if I get hurt is in your head, you can't get that out. And I just couldn't imagine having a nephew or a son, having that conversation with him, like about not competing, because that's what this is. This is competition. At the end of the day, of course, we want to get a scholarship and have a education paid for it, but this is competition. You play the game of football, basketball, whatever, before you even know that you can go to college on a scholarship, before you even realize how much money guys are making at the professional levels. You are playing the game because it puts a smile on your face. You're playing the game because you're hanging out with your buddies, doing something that's fun, and you're competing. So I couldn't imagine the type of feelings he's had to make that decision. I'm really curious how Texas, as a coaching staff, what do they think? Because we heard it with Kevin Colbert, the GM of the Pittsburgh Steelers, say one of the most idiotic things I've ever heard in my life, saying, well, we're not going to draft any guys that chose to opt out of last college football season during the middle of a pandemic. So if he's saying that in the middle of a pandemic, and I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't draft anybody that didn't play last season, if he's saying that in the middle of a pandemic, I'm sure there's other coaches and other GMs that thought the same thing. And I'm sure there's other coaches and GMs across all lifes of sport who think if people don't compete all the way through, they're quitters, they're losers, they got what they wanted, but are they going to quit on me? I'm sure there's people out there that feel that way, that are making decisions.
And lots to take away there. In fact, in this article that talks about Jaden Blue, of course, committing to Texas, one of the top running backs in the class of 22, a huge get for Sarkisian in Texas, of course, and he's opting out. He's not going to play his senior season of high school football because, he's put all the work in. You do everything in high school athletics, especially if you have an opportunity to be a D1 athlete, forget D1, to be a college athlete. And once a team offers you and you've committed, and in his head, he's probably saying, well, I mean, that's great. I got an offer from Texas. I verbally committed there, but I'm going to be keeping an eye on some other. No, he wants to be at Texas. Mm-hmm. He wants to play at Texas. So in his head, there's nothing else to play for in high school because high school was nothing but a springboard platform opportunity for him to put his talents on display to get there. It's interesting the way you brought that up because I didn't even think about this. Football is the only sport that, like baseball, you could be on the worst team in the history of high school baseball in Ohio, and you could still hit 400. You could still hit 50 home runs. You're going to get noticed. You're going to go play somewhere.
Right.
You also have travel. You also have travel teams and summer teams and everything, summer ball and everything like that. Basketball, you could be on the worst high school basketball team in the history of Ohio, but you could still average 25 points, 11 rebounds, and assists might be tough if but the rebounds will be easy if your team's bad because it's a lot of misses. So my point is football is the only sport that you can have all the physical talent in the world, but if your line is crap, if your quarterback's crap, if your wide receivers aren't good, if your defense is, you're not going to get you're only as good as your offensive line. Now he could be a huge guy that's just pummeling guys, and coaches are smart enough to see through the deficiencies of the team. They're able to pick out the talent from even a pile of garbage if the team's not good. But you're right. Like he owes it to the guys around him because football's the one sport that you're not getting there if you don't have pieces around you to help you get there.
I would be curious because now 7-on-7 is a huge thing. 7-on-7 is definitely a way that people are being recruited, kind of like how in basketball, AAU is like trumping high school basketball in the recruiting thing. So I'm curious to find out, like, I don't know if we can or can't, but like how much of his recruiting was based off of his 7-on-7 and all the camps that they go to, because is it, like you said, in high school, if your offensive line or any pro sport, especially football, if your offensive line isn't any good, you can't do anything. And especially at the high school level, if you're that good, you're probably playing both ways. You know what I mean? If he's the running back, he's probably also the linebacker or the safety. You know what I mean? So it's a ton of reps. It's a ton of action. There's a ton of opportunities for you to put a lot of things on film for other coaches. And more you're on the field, more opportunities you get a chance to get hurt as well. So like, it's a give and take. Like, what does he tell his coach? Like, look, coach, I'll play, but I'm only playing offense.
Well, that brings me to the next part. And real quick, regarding Jaden Blue, in this article, it says his decision does not impact his commitment to Texas because that's where he wants to go. It doesn't say that it does not impact the Longhorns' commitment to him. It just says that the Longhorns staff is aware that he is going to be sitting out his high school senior season. I want to follow this. I'm curious because keep in mind,
run him into the ground.
Coaches cannot stay like they'll never say this because, by the way, we are in the day and age where if you tell an athlete something they don't like to hear, they're not going to. I mean, again, we make it sound like it's the same thing in our everyday lives, but there's also a give and take in regards to where we are in the pecking order of society in regards to, being told what to do. No one likes to be told what to do. In fact, we're preaching everyone needs to do what's best for them, and you can't tell me what to do and everything. And we're at the point now where you want to talk about the trickle-down effect to go back to the theme of the conversation to begin with. The one thing I have in my notes here is young athletes, they watch LeBron bully teams into getting what he wants. They watch the quarterbacks in the NFL, and I'm going to say the word bully, but it's them going after what they want. But that's ultimately what it is, to where we,
wait around.
All the coaches from the time we're little kids, we are told the importance of, listen to the coach, do what the coach tells you. You may not like what the coach is giving you playing time wise, but you got to continue being a good teammate. You got to be a good team player. Do what's best for the team. Team. That's why I don't like that garbage anymore of preaching to the kids the importance of teamwork, because at a certain point, teamwork's crap. Listening to your coach is crap. Your teammate next to you is crap, because we preach the importance of teamwork. Do what the coach tells you. Accept your role, and you may not like your role, but maximize it. You might get your coach's attention, and he might give you more responsibility. The same garbage they feed us at work, when we all know that we're just, that ain't true, right? So that's where I'm at. Where at what point do these athletes, from the time that they're young, are told the importance of teamwork and listening to the coach? At what point in their careers do they say, oh no, I don't got to do what's best for the team. I am the team. I don't got to do what's best for him. He's just happy to play with me. In fact, the only reason he's enjoying us winning is because I'm on this team. Oh, the coach is going to tell me I need to play harder on defense. Screw him. If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't even be coach of the year. That's a thing. Yeah. And when you're a kid and you're watching these pro athletes bully their way around, they're sitting back saying, well, I'm a quarterback. That means I should get a set. You know what, Deshaun Watson? I should get it. You're right. I'm in 7th grade. I should get to tell the coach what plays we run. I don't want to scramble. I don't want to be hit. I want to hand it off. I want to drop back in the pocket. Don't make me get hit. Like, that's what these kids are seeing. So now we're starting to see, as these kids get older, they're starting to bully the coaches now. And by the way, you mentioned this earlier, the 7-on-7s and even AAU. I've talked to a lot of guys, especially at the prep scene, and even who, in recruiting in college basketball, They don't say that they don't care about the high school coaches, but the high school coach, and if there's a high school coach, and there are a lot of coaches in our area who've been around a while, who have a good rapport with some of these college coaches, they go to them. But they skip that now. They go right to the AAU teams. They go to the prep coaches. They're Chris Wright's just right now starting the flight academy. He's starting his prep team right now. There's going to be more coaches, college coaches, that reach out to him in his flight academy program. They're going to be reaching out to them more than they are the high school coaches that these kids played for. Now, granted, the prep team, that's who they play for now. They don't play for both, but they're going to go to them. They're going to go to the high school, the AAU coaches. Like, they don't care. When I grew up, Kev, every high school basketball coach I could think of had gray hair. They were older. They looked like grown men. Go to a basketball game now. Have you noticed everyone's in their 20s and 30s?
Yeah.
That was, if you ever ran into a coach, a varsity basketball coach, at least from my window of how I've lived life, like in my opportunity, it was rare to see a young basketball coach. Everyone was older. They were grown men. They had, kids in high school. They were, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I'm amazed every time I go home to watch my old team play. And even our old team has a coach that I never would have, no offense to, I never would have thought of him as a varsity coach, at least yet, because everyone I played for growing up, all the teams in our conference growing up, they were all older, grown men. Now it's all younger guys, because the older guys, it's not the same anymore. You can't tell kids what to do. You can't yell at them. If you yell at them, their parents are like, why are you bullying my kid? You're emotionally scarring him. He's going to have to go into therapy because you're yelling at him too much, because we don't yell at him at home. What gives you the right to? And there's coaches that are saying, forget this. Forget that this, sports was a certain way growing up. And now I get it. Everything changes as time gets older. But this is just one of those where these athletes watch the pro athletes and the college athletes bully them. You have Jim Harbaugh climbing trees to try to get recruits to come play for him. That, to me, it's a bad example being set for kids. And again, there are 4th, 5th graders that the YMCA, their parents, everyone's preaching teamwork. Do what's best for the team. Listen to the coach. There's no I in team. There's a certain point where that's not the case anymore, and that's what's unfortunate.
When does that point happen? When little Johnny realizes that he's better than everybody on the team, or when Johnny Dad realizes that?
And it's the parents are just as bad. By the way, sometimes it's not the kids noticing it; it's the parents. Well, I know my kid has leverage. If we go talk to the coach, I'll just threaten. And by the way, I've seen it at even my level of high school basketball, where we don't have future D1 prospect. We had guys who, they were just the best varsity player, but the parents would go in and try to bully the coach. And I had a coach in high school that did not put up with that. I had a coach in high school that would throw people out of his office. And I loved that. I still, to this day, I would play for him every damn day of the week. He looked like Bobby Knight. He wore the vest like Bobby Knight. He was a badass.
How was his chair throwing?
Dave Freilich. I am who I am today as far as a competitive individual, not just in sports, but in anything I do, because of him and my high school basketball coaches, because they were the old school type of coaches that they loved you to death. They never called you names, but they were passionate. They were fiery. They'd get in you. They'd yell at you. They'd make you work hard. Dude, I go to practices now for some high schools, and everyone's like, all right, guys, let's get a little. My favorite. This is one of my. I'm not going to name the coach. I'm not going to name the high school. Then a couple, guys. How about let's get a little conditioning in? You guys want suicides? And I'm like, what? I remember in practice, we're just standing up, we're dreading it. We're at the Gatorade cooler, like just waiting to be told, all right, sideline, baseline, whatever it is. Like, you just do what the coach, and this coach who I like. Hey, what do you guys want to do? Some suicides? What do you guys want to do for conditioning? And I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is weird to me. I just can't wrap my head around it.
It's not only that, but it's just times are changing. I mean, even Bill Belichick, he gives his team phone breaks. If grumpy Bill Belichick is giving his guys phone breaks, the world has changed. Mm-hmm. You gotta think, like the kids that are kids, the young men that are coming into the NFL now, they're like 22 years old. They don't know life without their phone. Everything they know is with their phone. They've grown up their entire lives with not only a cell phone, but a smartphone. They didn't grow up with the Nokia phone where you had to press 100 times to get the letter K. You know what I mean? So coaches have to adapt. And I'm not a parent, so let me say that first. I'm not a parent, but a lot of that stuff also goes on what happens at home with the parenting. If you let your kid talk reckless to their coach or talk reckless to their teammates, that's because you at home aren't doing your job. You got to instill respect. Like, Johnny can be the best player on the team. Johnny can be a potential All-American and go to Ohio State. But Johnny got to know, hey, man, I can't do it without my teammates. I can't talk to my coach like that. It's a level of respect. And I know it's a TV show, and I know it's a reality show, but when I watched that QB1 on Netflix, I watched Tate Martell, and, he's a hot dog, once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye, but I was getting that hot dog mentality from him as a high school senior, telling his parents what he's going to do, going down to the Strip in Vegas and hanging out and all that type of stuff, which is fine. Hey, man, I ain't no parent, like I said. But then a couple seasons later, I watched the one with Justin Fields. I watched Justin Fields' dad say, hey, man, you ain't cut the grass this morning. Get up. It's like,
yeah, do you know who the hell I am?
Yeah. So it's just like, look, man, like I said, I'm not a parent, but like those type of things, when you instill discipline in your child at home, they take that to school. And of course, they're going to emulate LeBron and Lamar and all the guys that they see on TV because that's what they aspire to be. But when you instill discipline and respect in your home, they're going to do that at school as well. And when you have a kid that's kind of like loosey-goosey, knows he's the bleep, everybody loves him and everything like that, and you do the same thing at home, he does whatever he wants to do, he's going to do that to his teammates. He's going to bail on his team. And that's what happens.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, the other thing, I don't know how many parents do this. My parents did it, but look, I wasn't good. I'm not pretending I wasn't good. So I never, when I'd come home, my parents would be mad. Like, and I got to give my parents credit. They came to every game, and I would go 4 or 5 games without seeing the floor. And there they were, and more power to them. Okay. But when I would come home and they would be angry that I'm not getting playing time, maybe we should. I'm like, don't. I know, there has to be a point. This is why I don't have sympathy for a lot of people, and I need to learn how to kind of realize that not everyone thinks like I do. I was very realistic of who I was as a talent. I didn't have any. Okay, but I also knew who I was as a worker. I worked harder than the best players on the team. I don't care. I never missed a conditioning thing. I was never the most talented, or I was always the least talented. I have no problem admitting that. But my work ethic was better than everybody else's. But I was realistic. I never sat there and said, "Well, how come I'm not getting playing time?" It's because you suck, Kenner. You suck. You can't. You're 5'5". You can't rebound. Sure, you're fast, but you can't remember a play to save your damn life. And the one time that you had a wide open layup, you tripped and fell and slid across. What do you want to ask me why you want to play? That's how I envisioned that conversation with my coach. My coach would never say that to me. He would think it, but I knew why I wasn't getting playing time. And I would tell my parents that, and there's so many times where, and I couldn't believe it because I had teammates who were horrible too. But when I would be at their house, like in high school, and I remember after games, we'd go there and I would have my friends' parents saying, "Man, I can't believe they didn't play you tonight." I'm like, I have 5 reasons why he didn't play. And I have 10 reasons why I didn't play.
You're not at practice.
And it's amazing. So what happens is parents then start telling their kids how dumb the coach is, what the coaches should be doing.
Yep.
So then you have these young minds who can be easily molded. And now these kids are going to practice looking at their idiot coach, right? Like they're looking at their coach like, this guy's an idiot. My parents told me he's an idiot. I'm not going to listen to him. Hey, coach, how come I'm not getting playing time? Well, you don't remember plays. Well, my mom said that I was very good at the memory game when I was a kid, and I can remember play. Like what in the world? Like these kids, and it's the parents. It's not really so much the kids, Kevin. It's the parents more than anything. There's bad apples when it comes to bad kids. I get it, but it's the parents. I know a lot of parents are listening, and I'm telling you, you're horrible. But stop being horrible. Stop being horrible. Your kids, have you ever met a parent that said their kid sucks? Have you ever met a good parent that says their kid sucks? But my thing is there has to be some kind of reality involved. Like the parents have to kind of say, hey, I noticed, hey, I'm glad you're working hard. I'm glad you're still going out for the team. But, I'm noticing you need to work on this, and this, and blah, blah. No, it's always, oh, you're perfect. Oh, man, the way you missed that layup. No one can miss it as cute as you, pumpkin, and they pinch your cheeks. My mom didn't do that. Are you kidding me? But I'm just saying, we live in this world where we got to tell these kids they're good even when they're not. So then when their parents don't do it, so then when they go to practice and the coach is like, yeah, you need to work on dribbling with your left hand. You need to work on memorizing these plays. You need to work on this. Wait, what? My mom just told me I was awesome, and here you are. All you do is ridicule me. No, they're just trying to tell you what to work on. But the parents at home have told you how great you are, and now you're being told constructive criticism by your coach, and that's what it is. But what you're hearing is, man, my coach is mean. Because all you're told at home is how great you are and how awesome you are, and you're really dumb, but your parents aren't brave enough to tell you. And then when people finally call you out on it, you have the nerve to act shocked, and it's the parents' fault, not the kids. I'm sorry, this went way off the trail that I was intending for today. Yeah, exactly. Shocker, by the way. Shaw says, I know plenty of coaches that coach their players hard. Okay, I should have known. If I would have said that all coaches play hard, he would have known 5 coaches who don't coach him hard. I'm not saying that coaches don't coach them hard, but I am curious, Shaw, how old are those coaches? Are they old school coaches or the young? Because the newer, younger coaches coming in, they don't have that rapport to do that. And I just don't see that being the case. I don't know. It is what it is. David Shaw also goes, this is the guy that's going to beat me on the court. Yes, because that's how little I think of you. And
welcome back, Shaw. Missed you yesterday.
Look, I played on a good team. I was the worst kid on I was the worst player on a good team. You would be the worst player on that team. That's how good our team was, Shaw. I'm just saying. Keith on Facebook says, I coached several youth sports. First practice, I tell every parent and kids, I'm the parent from the second practice starts. As far as that goes, I mean, you could say that, but the parents are probably laughing at you. Do they buy in, Keith? I'm just curious. Scott Campbell on YouTube says, this is what happens when parents from the everyone deserves a medal generation get older and have kids. Yeah, I didn't care about everyone gets a medal. I just cared that every kid, regardless of playing time, got a post-game snack, sandwich and chips, Gatorade. That's all I cared about. So, all right, it's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash. Now that we've bashed every parent in the Miami Valley, we'll be back coming up here in a moment. More of the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine. Let's do a little over-under on the other side. We were wrong and correct on a few of our over-unders yesterday. How about Eugenio Suarez proving me wrong, almost proving you right. We were both right about Anthony Davis. We were both right about, Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard averages 20 minutes a night during the regular season. Back-to-back games where he hasn't even seen the floor for a second. Unbelievable. We'll talk about all that next. Over under. Kev Nash brings it to us next. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, a high near 80. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 58. And tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a high near 82. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer. All right, is that a Q2 or a Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA.
No.
To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, my name is Brian Sommers, and I'm an attorney with Kirkland and Sommers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, we're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland and Sommers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsommers.com. That's Sommers with an O, kirklandandsommers.com.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
KevNashRoofing.com.
There are those who play the blues. Then there's Chicago's real deal. Buddy Guy.
And it's smooth.
Friday, August 27th, Rose Music Center at the Heights.
Goes down really
With
nice.
special guest, Robert Randolph of the Family Band. Tickets on sale this Friday at 11 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com and the Rose Music Center box office. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, Buddy Guy, live.
Hi, Greg McAfee here from McAfee Heating and Air Conditioning. Just a friendly reminder for you to remember those who have served and paid the ultimate price for our freedoms this Memorial Day. Take the time to thank a veteran or any armed forces member and have a great weekend.
With double the seasoned beef and a large drink all for $5, Taco Bell's Grande Nachos truly deserves a Grande intro, perhaps with a Grande beat box. Said it's crunchy, it's cheesy. Beat, actually, that sounded better in my head. Go get the $5 Grande Nachos before they make every exit. Nope, only at Taco Bell. At limited participating locations for a limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Tax extra. Drinks excludes freezes. Double the seasoned beef as compared to the Nachos Bell Grande.
Clay's Cleaning Service has a spotless reputation.
Take care of the windows. Hello, this is Clay.
But his business operations could use a light dusting.
I had you scheduled for next week. I'll just check here. No, absolutely. We will be there tomorrow.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring owner, operator, and fleet owners. Dedicated home daily round trip lanes. That's right, round trip, get paid for all miles, 100% no touch freight. Cordell is offering great pay, a discounted fuel program, and free on-site truck parking, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus per truck. Take advantage of the dedicated round trip miles, sign-on bonus, and home every day or every other day. Go online to CordellTransportation.com to apply today. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Staples is evolving to Staples Connect, a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Game 2 between the Cincinnati Reds and the Washington Nationals will be tonight, 7:05 the first pitch, 6:35 the pregame, and you can catch it all right here on Dayton's home of the Cincinnati Reds, 1410 Wing AM. So Eugenio Suarez finally gets a hit yesterday, and my thing is this, he was hitting 148 or whatever it was, then he hits that home run, and then all the stat nerds on Twitter like, oh, where's everyone at now? I'm like, okay, he's hitting 151. Like, what do you mean? Like, criticism is warranted. I have no clue why people act like you're not allowed to like it's a long season. That's fine. And just like when Weirdo Shaw was telling me to slow my roll with the Reds at the beginning of the season, I said no, because they're playing well. So when they're playing well, I'm going to say they're playing well. And when they're playing bad, I'm going to say they're playing bad. So Eugenio Suarez is not playing well right now. And he hits a home run last night, and although it was a feel-good moment and it led to the Reds getting a win, and that's what is most important, it's going to take more than just one home run after being one for your last 21 for me to say, oh, he's finally turned it around. Now, I do love that David Bell does have Eugenio Suarez back in the leadoff spot tonight. I said yesterday, I criticize David Bell a lot. I'm not a big fan of his managerial approach to a lot of things, but I will say that there are too many times, not just in baseball, but in even regular people jobs like the ones we have, where we just wish our bosses would be a little bit more patient with us. And we're in that results-based, we're in a results-based business. But let's be honest, every business is a results-based. I love when people say, well, it's a results-based business. Every business is a results-based business. You're either making money or you're not. You're either getting ratings or you're not. You have revenue coming in or you don't. It's all results-based. I hate when people try to separate, well, I work for a results-based industry. Everything is results-based. Let's just be honest. But David Bell continuing, even though I still think it's frustrating at times when he continues to stick with Suarez, continues to stick with him, eventually, hopefully, Suarez hits out of this, and then David Bell's going to look like a genius at that point. But I do give David Bell credit. He has done absolutely everything possible to help Suarez hit out of this slump. But the big question is, at what point how long does a slump have to go on before it's just considered bad ball? And you're hitting 148 or 151, whatever it is right now after last night. That's not good ball, especially as we head into June. You get a pass for April, but he's going to be hitting well below 200 heading into June. And if he's still hitting below 200 heading into July, then you have to have a very serious conversation about what to do with the Eugenio Suarez at that point. But I do love what we saw last night. Hopefully he can keep it going tonight back in the leadoff spot.
Yeah, you bring that up and you talk about Skipper having faith in his guys and, giving them that confidence and trying to get anything out of them and move them around the lineup, trying to shake them out of that funk that they're in and everything like that. It reminds me of the 1995 NBA Finals, Game 7, where John Starks had the worst game of his career in this biggest moment, and he just continued to break 3 after 3 after 3. And I remember listening to the telecast and them saying, when does Pat Riley take him out the game? Doesn't he just need to take him out? He's hurting him more than he can help him. And there was a rebuttal saying, well, without John Starks, they wouldn't be in this Game 7. So Pat Riley's going to ride him, and hopefully it comes up in his favor. And unfortunately for the Knicks and John Starks, that never happened. But hopefully for the Reds, this will start something. This will be the spark that he needs, seeing the ball go over the fence, him being the leadoff guy now, getting more attempts at bat. Who was 1 for 4 last night, right? Mm-hmm. Still not great, but without his home run, they don't win the game.
Yeah, it cracks me up because the stat nerds on Twitter, they like to preach the importance of numbers and stats, but then when the stats are bad and it doesn't fit their narrative of their favorite player, then they try to tell everyone they're being too critical. No, you're hitting 151 and you're a everyday position player. Pitchers get ridiculed for hitting much higher than that, and yet here you are. So again, I like what I saw yesterday, and hopefully you're right. It's kind of like in basketball. Sometimes you're having an off shooting night. Sometimes you just, even if it's a free throw, if it's a layup, sometimes you just need to see that ball go in, and then all of a sudden it just snowballs and you take off. And maybe that's what last night was. We will find out. Scott Campbell on YouTube says having Suarez batting leadoff is smart. There are good hitters behind him and puts pressure on the pitcher to keep Suarez off base. No, I don't think I think a pitcher loves when Suarez is up because he's hitting 148. Scott, I know what you're saying. That makes sense if Suarez is swinging a good bat, but he's not. But if he is swinging a good bat and they opt to keep him in that leadoff spot, then what you're saying is very, very accurate. But right now, there is no pressure on the pitcher because the pitcher is loving the fact that in their eyes, they're starting up the game with an out already. But Suarez, we'll see if he can pick up where he left off last night. But again, only 1 for 4. So it's not as if he crushed it last night, but he was able to kind of put an end to
I was
that
this
slump.
close. I was this close.
Yeah, the over-under yesterday was 1 hit for Eugenio Suarez in last night's Game 1 against the Nationals. I said absolutely not. You had Max Scherzer, who was undefeated at home until last night, had an ERA under 2 heading into last night. I was like, there's just no way. Well, way. My buddy called me. He goes, you realize every time you say something is not going to happen, it always happens. So you need to keep that negativity up. I'm like, my negativity is here for the masses. I'm telling you.
Vacation, man. Vacation. They're going to go on a winning streak.
All right. Let's do over under. Kev Nash brings you over under.
Kev Nash brings you over under.
All right. All right, Kev, what we got first up? Number 1.
Let's start over.
Kev Nash brings you over under.
All right. Number 1. It's over under time. The Clippers are now down 0-2 in their first round series against Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. Over or under 2 wins the rest of the series for the Clippers.
Well. It looks as if it really was Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan that was responsible for that Spurs championship. Nice role player, Kawhi Leonard. And now it looks as if it really was the injuries to Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And now it really does look like those were the injuries that led to the Raptors winning a championship, not the alpha male Kawhi Leonard, because the Clippers should not be down 0-2 against the Mavericks. The Clippers should not be down 0-2 against the Mavericks, especially when you hosted those first 2 games. Ooh. That's what's even worse. It's one thing if you on the road, the series doesn't start until the home team loses. Well, the home team hasn't just lost once, they've lost twice. So the over-under at this point is over under 2 wins for the Clippers moving forward. I have to believe that the Clippers are not going to go out this way because so much money and talk was invested into this being the team that it was going to take down LeBron and take down the Lakers. I was listening to Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, or no Zubin, whatever the heck is going on with that show in the morning. And Keyshawn was talking about the fact that there was so much talk in LA about the Clippers. I mean, they went all out. They literally spent millions of dollars on these banners. When you walked into the Staples Center, the Lakers arena, although you had a big old picture, Kawhi Leonard, him holding the basketball. I mean, it took up the whole wall. When you walk into the Staples Center, the first thing you see is Kawhi Leonard in the Clippers uniform. Their owner spent millions of dollars to get that put in that arena. And that to me is fascinating because that was the whole purpose of this. This is failing so far. They failed last year. I was willing to give them a pass because of the bubble and because it wasn't a typical playoff run, of course. But this year, there's no excuse. But if I have to answer this over under, I have to go with the over, mainly because if you look at the fact that there's been over 20 made threes for the Mavericks, almost 30 made threes for the Mavericks the last 2 games, they're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the NBA. So my only concern about going with this take is that I don't know, the shooting should only get better when you're at home. The Mavericks have been doing this on the road at LA against Paul George, against Kawhi Leonard. So for me, I'm going to say over because there's just no way that the Mavericks are going to sweep the Clippers. I think that the Clippers are going to get a win tomorrow night, and then it's going to feel like a different series. But man, if they go down 0-3, it's over. It's done. I'm going to say over just because I can't fathom a way that the Clippers lose this series badly. I think they could lose the series, but I don't think they're going to lose 4-1 or anything like that, or even in 6. I think that they're going to win more. It's going to be a 6 or 7 game series at this point.
For me, I'm going to go over as well. And the person that I'm looking at isn't Kawhi Leonard. It isn't Paul George. It's Ty Lue. It's Ty Lue because you got Patrick Beverly, who is my height, guarding Luka, who is LeBron James' height. That's not smart. Plain and simple. Look, he needs to go to Kawhi or Paul George, who are very long elite defenders in the NBA, and say, you're guarding them. And that's it. End of story. Yes, your offense probably will suffer because you're going to have to be guarding a dog like him. But guess what? Whoever ain't guarding him, you're going to have to step up offensively because he's going to be guarding him. So no more Patrick Beverly in the starting lineup. No more Patrick Beverly guarding Luka. I would definitely start Rondo because he's more of a facilitator than Patrick Beverly. Definitely no more Nicholas Batum out there. So the only guys that I want to see coming off the bench for the Clippers, if I'm a fan, is Terrence Mann because he's long and athletic and kind of can attempt to stay in front of Luka. And Reggie Jackson because he can hit a 3, and Serge Ibaka to give Zubac a breather. Everybody else, buckle up because you're probably playing all 48 unless you're in foul trouble. So that would be the tweak I would do if I'm the Clippers. I still gotta believe that the Clippers are going to win this series. I have no ammunition. Of why they should, because judging from everything that I saw, granted I fell asleep at halftime last night, but Luka was getting any and everything he wanted. He got everybody involved. He got every shot he wanted. And not only did he score 39 points, he got him where he wanted to go. He got it easily, because when they brought the double team, somebody cut to the basket, or Tim Hardaway Jr. fanned out to the corner for a three. Like, he is dicing them apart. And the reason he's dicing them apart, because he's getting wherever he wants to go super easy. You got to impede his progress. You can impede his progress by putting Paul George or Kawhi on him from the jump. Stop with all this, well, we're going to save it until the fourth quarter. Well, you know what? In the fourth quarter, in crunch time, they're blowing y'all out. You got nothing. They got, in crunch time, I saw it on ESPN, it's 20-4. 20-4 in crunch time. Apparently, that's not working. Ty Lue, you're a championship player. You're a championship head coach. Act like it. Switch it up, bro.
Yeah, well, Luka's about to step over Ty Lue the way AI did back in the playoffs decades ago. And I tell you what, Ty Lue not making any adjustments 2 games in, and it's not a good look for him. And look, I'm not going to get into the whole conversation of should he have been the guy named the head coach. He was the best name to take that coaching job. But I mean, my goodness, I don't think this is a doctor. I don't think it's yes, it's technically coaching, but it's not. We just got done talking about this. Coaches don't have as much power as they used to. There's not a lot of Ty Lue getting in the face of Kawhi saying you're going to do it because I'm the coach. Doc Rivers, who is more suitable to be that guy, couldn't do it. This isn't on Ty Lue. This is strictly on the players. Ty Lue isn't able to implement the things I think that he really wants to, because there's too many diva players. Like, everyone's acting like if Kawhi Leonard leaves the Clippers and it's going to be, such a devastating thing for the Clippers. If they end up losing this series and this was a big failure, that's only on Kawhi. It's not on Doc Rivers. It's not on Ty Lue. Paul George was brought over to be a Robin, and he's been a little less than Robin, but this is strictly on Kawhi. Like, Kawhi Leonard wanted to be a superstar. He wanted to be LeBron. He wanted to be Kevin Durant. And 2 years ago, we were sitting there saying, man, Kawhi's the best player in the game. And then Kevin Durant, and then LeBron James. And LeBron James still sitting here laughing at both. Actually, Kevin Durant, you're not really laughing at him, because when healthy, it's neck and neck. But, man, Ty Lue, I'm not putting this on him. I like Ty Lue. I don't think he's doing a great coaching job, but I think if Doc Rivers couldn't coach this group, Ty Lue can. And that's no slight at Ty Lue. This is a Kawhi Leonard issue. And if they lose this series, it's strictly on him. And I don't think it'd be the end of the world if the Clippers said, you know what, we tried, it failed, off you go. Kawhi Leonard's a very strange individual. And there's a lot of pressure on them. A lot of pressure on them, yeah.
Number 2, Donovan Mitchell returns from that high ankle sprain he suffered back in April. Under or over 30 minutes in game 2 versus the Grizzlies tonight.
No such thing as load management at this point of the season, especially when you're already down 0-1 and you already lost your first game at home. Memphis is riding high right now. They took care of business. I mean, they felt confident after knocking out Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. They felt really good about that. Now all of a sudden they've taken game 1 against the Jazz over. He's going to take, because they don't have a choice. I mean, you're going to ease them into it and risk going down 0-2, and then you ease them into it. And then you head to Memphis, and let's say he plays real well in game 3, and then Memphis takes a 3-0 lead, and it's like, okay, well, you were saving him for what? Unless you're doing the whole, well, if they want to injure it for, big picture. But no point in saving yourself for this right now. It's the playoffs. This isn't the regular season, no load management. If it's over, I don't say drastically over, but I'm going to say he's about the 35-minute range in that ballpark. But 30, there's no way he's going to go under. That's way they have to win tonight. It's a must-win. Very similar to the Clippers. You can't go down 0-2 when you were the home team the first 2 games, and Memphis is going to be rocking. That team right now, they've been waiting for an opportunity like this to feel excited about something. And Ja Morant, man, what a freaking star he is. A big, breakout moment for him. In that win against Golden State, they take a 1-0 lead. Looking to take a 2-0 lead. I'm going to say over because they have to. Unless it's that bad, I'm going to say no, it's an over, because he was mad that they didn't let him play. He was mad that they didn't let him play, that they were the ones kind of being careful with him and didn't let him play in game 1. Reports came out that he was frustrated with the organization. That's why I'm saying the over, because he was so fired up about not playing in game 1. He's going to play in game 2. If the injury's bad, it'll be under, obviously. But if he's out on the floor, it's going to be over 30 minutes. They don't have a choice.
You ever played craps before?
I've played like crap before.
Well, the Utah Jazz
no, I haven't.
Rode snake eyes. They came up craps big time, because what they were trying to do, and I don't care what Windhurst is reporting, They tried to play the game. Look, man, we got this. With Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year. We'll plug him in the starting lineup. We're going to roll the dice and make sure Donovan is 110% ready to go for the next round. So we're going to ease him back in. So, no, you're not going to play in game 1. We got this. But they didn't count on Memphis and Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson coming to play some basketball. They didn't think like, oh, man, they've already won the first play-in game, and then they won the second play-in game, and now they won the first game of the first round. So they won technically 3 straight playoff games. So they're feeling good about themselves. The absolute worst thing that the Utah Jazz can do is lose this game tonight. They lose this game tonight. They go down to Memphis. You're going to lose. They might get swept if they lose tonight. That place is going to be rocking. And I got peoples down in Memphis, Tennessee. Tennessee's been open for a long time. And they trying to get into that arena. And they trying to turn up a little bit, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm going to go over. I'm a big Donovan Spider Mitchell fan. I know that, D Wade is a part owner of the Utah Jazz now, and that's going to try to, massage things and keep Donovan Mitchell happy and keep him in Utah. All that stuff is for the offseason. Right now, y'all need to give Donovan Spider Mitchell the ball, let him run that high pick and roll with Gobert, and let him get busy, because y'all going to need it to get that good feeling back, because you are the number 1 seed in the entire NBA. So getting back on the winning feeling, over 30 minutes for Donovan Mitchell. Utah big tonight.
And you talk about D Wade, being a partial owner of the Jazz. Ja Morant's going to own the Jazz tonight, and they're going to go up 2-0. But no, I'm telling you right now that he's playing. It's going to be over. They just don't have a choice. And like I said, this injury could be more serious than when we saw what the high ankle sprain did to LeBron. But LeBron's a drama queen. LeBron's
that was legit. I'm not going to lie on that.
I'm going to have to learn how to play with one foot. I'm playing with 1 foot. He's coming in crutches. He looked like the real Kev Nash. You're the real Kev Nash, but the Kev Nash scene in WCW with he takes the. Oh yeah, that's LeBron. I seen those memes too, man. That's hilarious. I love that. But absolutely, he's going the over. So there's that. All right, number 3.
Number 3, the Knicks and the Hawks get it on tonight at MSG at 7:30. Former Dayton Flyer Obi Toppin over or under 5 points, which he scored in game 1. Over or under 5 points for Obi tonight.
You know what's funny about Obi is Obi doesn't have bad games. Most people will look at the stat line and say he doesn't have good games either. But the one thing that's most impressive about Obi is he's probably the most consistent rookie out there. He's consistently getting 9 to 10 minutes a game. Consistently. That's all he gets. He had 11 in game 1. He's consistently his stat line's the same every time. There's not a game. He doesn't go scoreless in games.
Right.
He doesn't have 1 point in the game. It's 4+ points every single night. And I'm not basing that off of he averaged 4 points a game. No, because every time the Knicks played, the first thing I would always do is I'd go sprint to the box score, watch it live. 4, 5, 6 points every single time. It never failed. Obi is one of the most consistent players, rookies in the league, and it's so strange. He's not getting any notoriety. No one's talking about him because he just hasn't been given enough time to be able to make a name for himself in the league yet. But you have to love the fact that in the same 9 to 10 minutes a night that he gets, he puts up the same numbers every single night. Yes, they're small, but that to me says when he's out there, he maximizes his time, and it's not like he's not having those rookie ups and downs. Like he could play at a high level. I'm going to say over. If it's under, it's under, and it'll be by 1 point. But I'm going to say over. I say he hits at least 2 threes tonight and a dunk. So I'm going to say 8 points. But the simple answer is over. He will have more than 5 points tonight at the Garden. It's a must-win for the Knicks because, man, it's a very similar circumstance for a lot. Yes, you don't want to go down 0-2, but you're the home team. A lot of home teams lost. We kept saying, the bubble, how different the playoffs would have been last year if there was no bubble and you're playing on your home floor in front of fans. How different would it have been? Everyone kept saying it would be drastically different because look at right now, look at the importance of the home floor and these teams. No one's really has a home floor advantage right now. The Lakers and the Suns have split. The Knicks are already down 0-1. You look at what's going on with the Clippers right now. There's really not a whole lot of home court.
The only team to be up 2-0 at home is the Nets,
and they're playing the G League team. Yeah, the Nets are playing the G League team, and the Bucks are the silent killer, man. They're just sitting there saying, "Everyone, pay attention to the Nets, pay attention to Kevin Durant, pay attention to all that." That's fine.
I'm going over as well for Obi. You know, I talked about this before with Obi and his offensive prowess and the situation that's going on with him and Taj Gibson. Like, we understand Taj Gibson's on the floor because he's a veteran. He knows defensive assignments. But you're going up against a team in the Atlanta Hawks who score a lot of points, who shoot a ton of threes. I want a guy that can finish underneath the basket, who thinks about scoring when he gets the ball as opposed to thinking about passing. Who, as soon as he gets it on the roll, who am I kicking the ball to? If I got a guy that's rolling to the rim, I want him to attack the rim. I want the dude to try to rip the goal off the hoop. And that's Obi. I know Coach Tibbs knows way more about basketball than I'll ever know. But, man, I really think the Knicks would do themselves some justice by putting Obi in at the 5 and letting him play at the 5 a little bit more and him be that role man. But I still got him going over 5 points tonight.
All right, the next part of that one?
Yes, we got number 4. Obi played 12 minutes in game 1, under or over 12 minutes for Obi in tonight's matchup versus the Hawks.
I'm gonna say, what is it? You said 11 minutes or 12 minutes?
12 minutes. 12 minutes.
I'm gonna say under, but not by. It'll be 9 to 11 minutes. It'll be under. The one thing, though, you're not talking about Obi being consistent. Tibbs is consistent too. He doesn't budge. I don't know if he has a stopwatch over there. I don't know if he has a stop. By the way, I don't know about you, but I do this game every time I fill up on gas. Like, I never fill up. Okay. I literally put $10, $15 in max every single time. If I know that I have a couple trips coming up, because I live like just literally walking distance from work. I didn't say I would walk. Nora did that one time. I'm like, I live walking distance from work. She goes, I thought you were walking to work. I'm like, no. I said I could walk to work. I'm not walking to work. I'm just saying if it came down to it, car problems, I could walk to work if I wanted to. But no, like, it's one of those, you know, I fill it up on gas. I always try to stop it right at 10. And that's what I feel like Coach Tibbs does on the sideline. All right, Obi topping on 10. Oh, crap. 10:05. Crap, went over. I say under, not by much, but he's not going to play more than 12 minutes tonight. I mean, he consistently gets that 9 to 10 to 11 minute range. I think that's what Obi in. The one thing about Tibbs, though, he's consistent, yes, for that time, but it don't matter if Obi can hit back-to-back threes, places nuts, you out. I mean, it's like unbelievable. But no, I'm going to say under. He's going to be over on the points. The over-under for Obi Toppin was 5 points. I say over-under on 12 minutes of playing time. I say Obi gets less, but through no fault of his own. It's just Tibbs has been dialed in on that 9 to 10 to 11 minute range for him all season long.
Over 12 minutes. I got 2 of them for you.
I'm a hater, so you know. I
got over 12 minutes because I got the Knicks big tonight. I got the Knicks in a blowout, and I have Taj Gibson with a flagrant 1 foul on.
That's specific.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. What time? First quarter, 7-11, you know?
Second quarter, Taj Gibson gets a flagrant foul on Trae Young.
Why don't they hate Trae Young? What's going on with Trae Young?
Calling it, dog. Look, man, the New York Knicks need to play like the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks need to play like Oakley's coming through that door, like
he's not allowed to do that.
Yeah, like Patrick Ewing's out there on the floor. Somebody's getting put on their butt tonight because the way Trae Young not only hit him with the ice tray thing and told the crowd shush and shut the bleep up and everything, like talking to Spike Lee all crazy and everything like that.
I loved it.
That's great. I'm here for it. It makes the game better. But he was able to get to the basket because he has no fear. He knows nobody's going to hit him. They have no fear when they go to the rim. Put him on his butt. Taj Gibson, he's going to flagrant fouling. He's going to hit him hard. Trae Young's going to go down. He's going to get it back up because he's tough, but he's going to get a flagrant 1. The Knicks are going to win by double digits. They're going to be up so much that Obi gets like 20 minutes a night, and Obi's going to give us a nice one. He's going to get one. He's going to get us a nice windmill dunk on a fast break. Obi's going to score 10 points tonight. He's going to play like 22 minutes tonight, and the Knicks are going to win big tonight, and it's going to be a flagrant foul from Taj Gibson on Trae Young.
Very detailed. Very
TJ Smooth, you happy?
So he's saying ain't no stopping Obi Toppin, you know, not really original. I get it. It's been overused a lot. My favorite part was because, you know, we've heard that, you know, Dayton fans, that's all, ain't no stopping Obi Toppin. Like, what was really annoying is when Obi got drafted by the Knicks, and it's like when the Knicks discovered that little like rhyme there, they never like, ain't no stopping Obi Toppin. It's coming to t-shirts. It's already on a t-shirt, dude. It's been used a lot. It's really not that, you know,
Coach Tibbs is,
you know,
stopping.
By the way, you talked a lot about LeBron with the flopping thing and everything. You talk about the Knicks and having an enforcer. I still remember that Amon Shumpert back screen screen on LeBron. LeBron got hit. He reacted to it, and then he did the wave again. It wasn't Shumpert. I thought it was Amon Shumpert.
It was Tyson Chandler.
Oh, is it okay? But they had him on Shumpert on there. Okay, so yes, that screen when LeBron he initially got hit and the movement, the jolt, and then he did like another jolt, like a second one. Like, oh, that wasn't good enough. I love LeBron. I love it, man. I really do. In fact, last night I was just looking for it over and over. The just look of pure pain on his face at all times. I mean, I wonder if he does that at home when his wife tells him to do the dishes. What? You know who I am?
Number 5.
Oh, we got another one.
Yeah,
That's right. My bad.
We got one more. Currently today on Wednesday, May 26th, the Reds are 4 games back the NL Central. Going into June, so on June 1st, the Reds being back 3 games, over or under being back 3 games. And remind you, 6 games to go in May.
So with that being said, 6 games left in May?
Yes,
really?
Sir.
Oh, yeah, there is. Absolutely. So the good news is I'm going to say under. No.
Oh!
Hold up. No, so they have Washington tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to say under. The Cardinals aren't playing great right now. The Cubs are just kind of middle of the pack. But the reason I'm going to say under, I think the Reds are going to be 2.5 back heading into June. And they're still not playing good baseball. And I'm not saying that the Reds are playing good baseball, but that's not the point. This is why I always say I don't care about the record. The most important thing to me is and always will be, how many games back are you? I am going to say under. They will be 2.5 games back. And I'm mainly saying this because the Reds have a huge opportunity as they have the Cubs coming up. They have the Cubs coming up. They game 2 and 3 with of course, the Nationals. It's at Chicago. So, of course, that's going to be, that'll be kind of where we're at with that. But I'm just saying it's going to be tough. I'm going to say under. They're 4 games back. They've actually made up a game and a half, and they've won 1 of their last 6 games. So it's like 1 or 2 of their last 6 games. They've made up more games in the last couple days, even with getting a win yesterday, but a couple losses before that. They've made up some ground. The Cubs are a half game back at the Cardinals. The Cubs, though, playing good baseball. They've won 7 of their last 10. The Brewers have won 4 of their last 6, and the Reds right now are 4 games back, 21-25. The Cardinals, they're 3 and 7 in their last 10. So the Cubs are looking to get back to the top of the NL Central. The Reds can have something to say about that. I'm going to say 2.5 games back is what the Reds will be heading into June. So I'm going to go under.
Can I push?
Yeah, you're not supposed to in this game, but I kind of wanted to push as well. I think they can make up another full game in the next week. But that's why I went 2.5 just to play, but I wanted to push as well.
I want
salt and pepper, baby.
I want to push, but I'm gonna go under. I don't think it gets done. I just don't see it, man. I just don't. The way they're so up and down right now, and please don't hate me, Reds fans. I just gave y'all a lot of love with Obi Toppin. I just don't see it happening. I really don't have a reason outside of that. We've been agreeing way too much on these over-unders, so I want to be different anyway.
There you go. Look, I'm thinking with my heart, not my head on this. Look, the Reds have not played great as of late, but they've made up a game and they were 5.5 back last Friday, and they're 4 games back, and they've not played great baseball at all. So we'll see. But again, that was a good win last night. We'll see if they can build on that tonight in Game 2 against Washington. Game 3 will be tomorrow, and then that's big series with the Cubs. And Scott Campbell, he jumps in and he says the next 3 series at Cubs, home versus Phillies, and at the Cardinals. So that's huge. Obviously, that'll be into June by the time you get to the Card series. But within the next 2 weeks, the Reds can find themselves back within a 2.5 to maybe a game to maybe right there at the top. No team in the NL Central. Like when I say that the Reds could be at the top of the NL Central, that doesn't mean that they're playing great baseball because no one's playing great baseball. The Cardinals aren't playing great baseball. Right. They've had little sprint. They've had little jolts of good baseball. The Cubs are winning some, losing. So that's basically how the NL Central is going to be. It's going to be a bunch of 78 to 85 win teams. I know that's very specific, but you were very specific earlier, so it's my turn. I think that the NL Central, Kev, is full of teams that are going to go on some win streaks, lose streaks. You can say that about a lot of teams in baseball, but there's no 100 win team in this NL Central right now. So it's going to be tight to the very end. Tight. The Cincinnati Reds, though, will be 2.5 games back at least heading in to the month of June. And that is Kev Nash's over and under. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We appreciate everyone tuning in and hanging out with us here on a whatever the hell day it is, Wednesday. There you go. All right, we're going to step away for a few moments. When we come back, I'm excited about this, actually. The Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals, they have something in common. And no, it's not the state that they live in. They both have a certain position group that is extremely overrated. It's the same position group. Both teams feel like they have really, really good blank at this position group. And I'm going to tell you why it's two of the most overrated positions for both teams heading into the 2021 season. We'll talk about that coming up next. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash. We'll be back in a moment.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
It's time for some straight talk. Sure, saving money feels good, but cutting your wireless bill in half, that feels really good. Like walk-off home run in the 9th inning kind of good. Okay, maybe not that good, but pretty darn good. With Straight Talk, you can get 25 gigs of high-speed data for $45 a month, up to 50% less than the other guys. Plus, no contract. All on America's best networks. Why pay a whole lot when you can pay half? Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
O'Reilly. This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Memorial Day sale is happening now, so get in the spirit of summer with holiday savings from JCPenney. Shop doorbuster deals this Friday to Monday only. Save up to 60% on select swim styles for men, and get select St. John's Bay and A&A tees for $5.99, and microfiber twin sheet sets for just $9.99. Plus, save an extra 25% with coupon. Celebrate every summer moment with JCPenney. Offers valid 5/28 through 5/31. Coupon offer valid through 5/31. Some exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Summer, it's almost here, but Memorial Day savings are already at the Home Depot. In-store, online, store-wide. Like 5 bags of garden fresh mulch for just $10. Save on everything from flower beds to a fresh coat of paint. From power tools to ceiling fans. Ready, set, summer. Memorial Day savings, here now, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Limit 75 bags per customer. Color selection varies by store. While supplies last, continental U.S. only.
O'Reilly.
This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Because it's my vision, I take the most studied eye vitamin brand.
Because it's my vision, I take the eye vitamin brand backed by 20 years of research.
Because it's my vision, I take PreserVision.
Age-related macular degeneration is the leading cause of vision loss in adults over 60. That's why the National Eye Institute did 20 years of clinical studies on the formula that's found in PreserVision. From the eye experts at Bausch & Lomb, PreserVision AREDS 2 formula eye vitamins contain the exact nutrient formula recommended by the National Eye Institute to help reduce the risk of moderate to advanced AMD progression.
Because it's my vision, I made a plan with my doctor that includes PreserVision. Find PreserVision in the vitamin aisle. Available at Walmart.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free. 4hims.com/radio. That's right, free. Zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Oh, dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light and give you possible solutions verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by the most robust database of technician solutions. The free Fix Finder service. Only at AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
It's Mattress Firm's best Memorial Day sale ever. For a limited time, save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sealy and Sleepy's.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's time for some straight talk. You've got real work to do, but everyone's sucking up the free Wi-Fi faster than a Mocha Choco double frap on ice. So be your own hotspot. Now with Straight Talk Wireless, get 10 gigs of hotspot data with the ultimate unlimited plan. Just $55 a month on America's largest and most dependable networks. You don't have to find a hotspot. You are the hotspot. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
Cars and Parts Swap Meet and Car Show. Bring the family.
Hot rods, muscle cars, classics. You've got to see Cars and Parts Giant Swap Meeting Car Show this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. Great family fun. Bargains on everything automotive, from rare old parts to racing collectibles. You've got to be there this weekend at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. Call 937-376-0111 for details.
Cars and Parts Swap Meet and Car Show. Bring the family.
Hustler Turf commercial mowers are built tough to work hard. Whether you need a fleet of mowers or are a one-man show, you don't have time for downtime. Hustler mowers are over-engineered, overbuilt, and tested well beyond what is required, with the most complete lineup in the industry, including exclusives like a 104-inch Super 104, an 88-inch stand-on, and industry-leading warranties. Hustler mowers are ready to handle what you throw at them. Build your fleet to be reliable and versatile with Hustler Turf. Visit Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle today.
Now at Menards, save big money in your next project with 11% off everything. Keep your lawn lush and green this summer with Midwest Master Grass Seed. The premium blend contains high-performing ryegrasses and bluegrasses designed to integrate well in the Midwest. In full sun to light shade, all 11% off. Now at Menards. Good through May 31st. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
I can't take this anymore.
I lost my job.
I feel alone.
The crisis text line is here to help day or night. Text 4HOPE to 741-741 for free and confidential support. Text with a trained volunteer to move from that hot moment to a cool calm.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
At Panera, dinner is hot and ready to serve. Bring home Panera's cheesy flatbread pizzas, toasty sandwiches, or creamy mac and cheese with delivery or pickup. Availability and pricing may vary.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. It's live, it's local, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers.
Jacksonville Jaguars Trevor Lawrence says that Tim Tebow is a guy you want to be around. That's super. Super. Jacksonville Jaguars Trevor Lawrence also says that Tim Tebow is the hardest worker in the room. That's just what you want to hear from your franchise quarterback. That someone else, not you, is the hardest working guy in the room. I'm just saying. I'm nitpicking here. But, look, that's all I keep hearing about. And, look, I don't care about those things. You think we didn't know that about Tim Tebow? Has anyone said, man, I think he's a crappy individual? I don't even think he believes in God. I think he's an atheist. Like, has anyone ever said that Tim Tebow's a bad dude? No. So why do people keep regurgitating the same BS that we keep hearing? Like, I have no problem with Tim Tebow being on the Jaguars roster. I think that everyone is full of crap if you're doing the whole way. He's going to take a roster spot from somebody. If he takes a roster spot from somebody, it's going to be someone that was at the bottom of the roster anyway. Yeah, but he can't block. He can't do this. And you think that the guys at the bottom of the roster are that much better than Tim Tebow to begin with? At least Tim Tebow brings a little bit of a name. He brings some jersey sales. Like, he brings more to the table than half the people at the bottom of the 53-man roster. So let's just be clear. But what I'm tired of hearing is how great of a guy he is. Super dude. Awesome. I mean, such an amazing guy. I don't care about that. You know what I want to hear? Man, he's really impressed some people in workouts, man. He's been really good. He's a lot stronger than we thought.
He hasn't.
But that's what I'm saying is like, and good for, and Trevor Lawrence, by the way, this is actually the first time we've actually even said his name since draft night, because he just does not get talked about. But I just find this interesting. It's always the same regurgitated stuff of, man, he's just a guy you want to be around. He's the guy you'd like your daughter to bring home, and all that. Like, I'm just tired of hearing all those same things. Like, no one's debating that. You're answering questions that don't exist. Man, he's a great guy. Oh, did I ask you if he's a great guy? No. Did I say, hey, man, is he the kind of guy you want to be around? That's such a stupid comment. Like, media sucks sometimes. Like, this is a ESPN row. Actually, no, I lied. This is an Associated Press article. But so on my little mouse cursor here, I had to scroll down 8 times to read an article summarizing that Trevor Lawrence said Tim Tebow is a great guy to be around. Man, I could sleep better at night, because I was really wondering the other day if Tim Tebow's a great guy to be around. No, everyone's wondering if he could be a tight end. Everyone's wondering if he can block. Everyone's wondering if he can catch. Everyone's wondering if he can not just run routes, but separate in routes to be able to, catch. And that's what we're all wondering. So stop wasting time with how great of a guy he is. Stop wasting time with all of it. No one cares. Because until an article comes out that says Tim Tebow is really impressing your coaches, Tim Tebow is really proving critics wrong, until those start coming out, I don't want to hear Tim Tebow's name again. I've said my piece. I have no problem with him being on the roster. I think everyone that is continuing to cry about him being on the roster, I think you're kind of full of it. It's one thing to have an opinion, but to die on that hill is very strange to me. No one has ever cared about the third string tight end before until Tim Tebow walks on a roster. I mean, my goodness. So bottom line is this. Trevor Lawrence, I want to hear more about Trevor Lawrence. I want to hear more about his first camp. I want to hear about his development. I don't want to hear about how swell of a guy that Mr. Tebow is.
Distraction. That's what it is. It's a distraction, and that's what people want to know about. They want to know how Tim Tebow is doing, and I think Trevor Lawrence is being a good teammate by talking about the things that he does know and that we all know about Tim Tebow. Maybe he doesn't want to say, like, man, I threw him a pass in the flats. Dude got stone hands, bro. Like, I'm glad this practice wasn't live because I'd have got killed from the blind side because he can't block.
He looked like the Steelers tight end there for a little bit.
So I just think that, especially at this early on in Trevor Lawrence's career, you just say the things that are just going to just give him something as opposed to telling them the real. Because if he told them the real, maybe the real ain't so good for Tim Tebow.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, and we've been agreeing on too much lately. I totally disagree with you about it being a distraction. I think that we like to say things all the time about distractions. These are professional athletes who love to live in the spotlight. They love to live on TikTok. They love to live on Twitter and Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram and everything else. They want the attention on that. There's so many things in these players' lives that are not football related that they navigate through. I really don't think it's a distraction. Like, hear me out on this. Okay. What I mean is ESPN spending hours a day talking about Tim Tebow keeping Trevor Lawrence from developing as a quarterback? I don't think it is. I think that when you're in practice, and I've talked about this with like Keith Byers and others, I go, when you hear people say that it's a distraction, it's a distraction. What does that even mean? And he even said, he goes, it's talking points for media to focus on. He goes, but they're not really distractions in the locker room. Distractions in the locker room are rifts between players and coaches, or rifts between players and players. Those become distractions. Having a player that everyone's talking about, I mean, how is that any different, Kev, than if Centerville has a star quarterback, in which they do? Is everyone talking about their star quarterback a distraction to the Centerville Elks high school football team? So I am politely working on myself here, politely saying I disagree, because I just don't think that these guys who are professional athletes are that mentally weak that they cannot perform their job because ESPN and some boob in Dayton is talking about Tim Tebow. That's all. But, I get it. It's only a distraction, Kev, if Urban Meyer tries giving Tim Tebow snaps at quarterback. Then
move over, Trevor.
Then that becomes a little Tuesday. Like, the reason I didn't have a problem with any of this is because he was coming in as a tight end. So to me, it's just one of those things where I don't think that there's an overlap there, unless it's one of those where Trevor Lawrence is trying to force the ball. Like, I believe OBJ has slightly been a distraction in Cleveland, and not in the negative connotation that everyone likes to paint OBJ to be. I just think that OBJ's, because of how great he is or was with New York coming in, that it is a distraction to Baker. I didn't mean to disrespect Baker Mayfield by calling him Joe Burrow. I will never do that again. I do believe it's a distraction, but not for the way that people like to paint it to be. The fact that Baker Mayfield continues to force the ball to him, that to me is a distraction. The fact that, he's worried that OBJ is going to get mad if he doesn't give him enough stuff, those are distractions. I just don't think this is a distraction. I just don't. When he was on the Mets farm system, no one said that he was a distraction there. Everyone said how great it was because the people were talking about him and people were going to games. That's kind of what this is, right?
I'll revert back to what I said. You want people coming to games. You want people buying those ugly teal jerseys. Win games. Winning games. People wear terrible jerseys.
But what do you say that they're already buying the jerseys, though? He's already he has the top 5 gross products on NFL.com, right? NFL Shop. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's insane to me. Like, I'm not even I won't say I'm not a jersey guy, but nowadays, a Tim Tebow jersey, I wouldn't invest my $100 in a Tim Tebow jersey until he made the roster. That's how I would feel about this situation.
That's the problem. You got to buy him now because they're not going to be available 3 months from now. So I have no problem. I mean, I'm just saying. And you're
the Tim Tebow supporter.
No, I am the Tim Tebow pursuing an opportunity supporter. I have no problem with Tim Tebow doing that. I guess I knew that there was going to be chatter on both sides of this. I remember when it was first brought up, you right away were like, no, but I agreed with your stance of what's the point? He's not good enough to do it. But I got really defensive of Tim Tebow when people started saying he doesn't deserve a tryout. That's where I was kind of drawing the line of who are we to say what someone deserves and doesn't. This is a guy that, to sit there and act like we're going to forget that he's one of the best college football quarterbacks of all time. We're just going to act like that didn't happen. Well, and I know that that's college. This is but football's football. and he's paid his dues in the sport of football. And say what you want. I know he wasn't a great quarterback in the NFL, but my goodness, the guy never gave up. I mean, he's a great guy to be around. He never gives up. He's a hard worker, yada, yada, yada. Super swell, fantastic. All I'm saying is I have no problem with him having an opportunity to try out. And if anyone out there thinks that they care about the third string tight end that he might take a roster spot from, go buy him dinner. Reach out to him on Instagram. The third string tight ends, the third string anybody on a roster, they're dying for people to reach out to him on social media because no one pays attention to them anyway. So if you really feel bad for him, reach out to him, ask him what their Venmo is, ask him what their Cash App is, and send them some money because apparently they're going to be homeless and jobless because of the Saint Tim Tebow taking the roster spot. If you let Tim Tebow, who hasn't played in the NFL in 8 years, if you let a minor league baseball player come in and take your position, then you weren't that good to begin with. I'm just saying. Tim Tebow's not making the roster. He's not. I'm one of the rare people that is saying he's not going to make the roster because I don't believe he's good, but I also think it's crap to say that he doesn't deserve it. If you want to say other people, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this too. So, for instance, Logan Paul. Mm-hmm. Stephen A. Smith called him out yesterday. By the way, I hate the Paul brothers, but their interviews are really good.
Oh yeah,
they're really they're really swell people. They're really nice guys. They look like fun guys to be. No, Stephen A. had asked him about. What do you say to those who criticize you and say you don't deserve this opportunity to fight Floyd Mayweather? And I loved his. We don't. He goes, there are plenty of guys who have been moving their way up the ranks and deserve an opportunity. He goes, but we work hard in a different sense, and to act as if I'm going to turn down this opportunity. Why would I turn down this opportunity?
Right.
He brought up a good point about the tiered system of there's always going to be a chain of command, and no one ever follows chain of command in anything. And to sit there and say if you skip a couple steps and offer it to someone before the person who's supposed to get it, that person's going to accept it. People accept jobs all the time that they maybe aren't in position to deserve getting. He goes, so that's my approach to it. I'm not disrespecting those guys. I beyond respect the work that they're putting in. And that's kind of Tim Tebow. He's not crapping on these guys. The only way he's crapping on them is if he comes in out of shape, if he comes in unprepared and comes in and I don't think that's what's going on here.
We know he's not going to come in.
And his religion has nothing to do with this, by the way. No one's hating on Tim Tebow because he prays at night. Okay.
No, not at all.
He needs to pray a little harder if he wants to make that roster, though.
Tim Tebow's going to come in shape. He's going to give it his best effort. And like I said before, when we first started talking about this, sports is the great equalizer. Either you can play or you can't. Ain't nobody out here worried about what you do religion-wise, sex-wise, none of that. Nobody cares. Can you shoot? Can you catch? Can you block? Can you kick? Can you stop a puck? Can you hit a puck? Can you hit a ball? If you can do all those things well, nobody cares. And if Tim Tebow is able to catch the ball and block, he'll make the roster. But if he can't, he ain't. And that is the great thing about sports because it don't care about your color. It don't care where you from. It just don't. Either you can produce or you can't. It's that simple. That's why sports is great because it don't care about none of that. Either you gonna help us win or you're not. And if you're not helping us win, here's your walking papers. Sorry.
Yep, this is it. It's as simple as this. Brian McCoy. Shout out to Brian McCoy on Facebook. Brian McCoy says, if he's good enough, he makes it. If he sucks, he's out. And honestly, it's as simple as that, Brian. Yes. I agree with you 1,000,000%. That's why. And then I was watching Colin Cowherd the other day and Joy Taylor, who I love Joy Taylor. Joy Taylor said, she goes on this long 5-minute rant about why Tim Tebow doesn't deserve to be in it. She goes, but it's okay because I don't really feel strongly about it. I'm like, you just went on for 5 minutes about how you are adamant he doesn't deserve a spot, but then you end it with, yeah, but it's okay. I'm not that really passionate about it. So Brian, yes, I agree with you 1,000,000%. If he's good, he'll make it. If he's good enough, it's not that he's good. I don't think he'll be a starting tight end in the NFL. If he's good enough to make the roster, great. If he's not, he won't. I mean, it's really just that simple. And by the way, it's actually not that simple, I guess, if I walk this back a bit. If he's good enough to make the roster, do you think these people are going to say, oh, man, I was wrong. He's good. He's good. No, you know what we're going to do? Well, he's only made it because Urban Meyer.
He ain't going to make the roster if he can't protect a rookie quarterback. He's not going to make the roster if he can't do those. Those are the things that he's going to be asked to do is to protect the rookie franchise quarterback. Ain't nobody in their right mind going to put a dude out there that's going to put their franchise in jeopardy unless you have to.
Or unless you're the Bengals.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, a high near 80. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 58. And tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a high near 82. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Jess's 30-minute bike boot camp? I guess it's that kind of day.
Are you ready for a total body workout, Peloton fam?
I am.
We'll start the class on the bike and then move to the floor. Let's get it.
With Peloton instructors right in your home,
Are you feeling it yet? Let's keep pushing for 5.
you have motivation that's ready when you are.
Clip off that bike and meet me on the mat for lunges.
I got this.
You showed up today, Peloton. Who's feeling sweaty and strong?
Definitely me.
Tap into your motivation at onepeloton.com.
Credit Karma Money is a brand new checking account where you can win daily instant Karma purchase reimbursements on items up to $5,000. Over $3 million in instant Karma has already been given away to over 50,000 Credit Karma members and counting. Visit creditkarma.com/winmoney now to open your free account and start winning instant Karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MVB Bank Inc. Member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
and Doug. And we're back with Limu, Emu, and Doug for the final question. Category is things you climb. All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs. Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
John,
Clay's cleaning service has a spotless reputation.
take care of the windows. Hello, this is Clay.
But his business operations could use a light dusting.
I had you scheduled for next week. I'll just check here. No, absolutely. We will be there tomorrow.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The Memorial Day sale is happening now, so get in the spirit of summer with holiday savings from JCPenney. Shop doorbuster deals this Friday to Monday only. Save up to 60% on select swim styles for men, and get select St. John's Bay and A&A tees for $5.99, and microfiber twin sheet sets for just $9.99. Plus, save an extra 25% with coupon. Celebrate every summer moment with JCPenney. Offers valid 5/28 through 5/31. Coupon offer valid through 5/31. Some exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com for details.
Summer, it's almost here, but Memorial Day savings are already at the Home Depot. In-store, online, store-wide. Like 5 bags of garden fresh mulch for just $10. Save on everything from flower beds to a fresh coat of paint. From power tools to ceiling fans. Ready, set, summer. Memorial Day savings, here now, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Limit 75 bags per customer. Color selection varies by store. While supplies last, continental U.S. only.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Hi, my name is Brian Sommers, an attorney with Kirkland and Sommers. We are a law firm dedicated to divorce and family law. We have 2 locations serving Miami Valley, one near Austin Landing and the other in Troy. Remember, we're not part-time divorce and family lawyers. We're full-time here for you.
Kirkland and Sommers, trusted and experienced, a family law practice dedicated to serving you. Visit them online at kirklandandsommers.com. That's Sommers with an O, kirklandandsommers.com.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hi, Greg McAfee here from McAfee Heating and Air Conditioning. Just a friendly reminder for you to remember those who have served and paid the ultimate price for our freedoms this Memorial Day. Take the time to thank a veteran or any armed forces member and have a great weekend.
It's all about the nose. It's your air filter, the first line of defense against bacteria and viruses. If too many germs get stuck in your nose, guess what? You get sick. That's why it's so important to keep your nose clean, just like washing your hands. Nasal irrigation gets rid of germs by rinsing the nasal cavity, but neti pots are hard to use and, frankly, kind of gross. Now there's a better way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself. It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now it's time to start cleaning your nose with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
It's Mattress Firm's best Memorial Day sale ever. For a limited time, save up to $500 on top-rated mattress brands like Sealy and Sleepy's.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on The Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So earlier I made the comment about how the Browns and Bengals have something in common. And no, it's not the fact that they both play in the same state. It's, well, they both have a certain position group that is extremely overrated. When people talk about the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield, the first thing everyone says is, man, they loaded him up with weapons. He has weapons everywhere. I say that. He had two really good tight ends. They paid Hooper a lot of money. Great offensive line, great run game. What about receiver? Cleveland Browns wide receiving core. How good is their wide receiving core? And then you're Bengals fans. Bengals fans were very cocky about their wide receiving core last year until they were trying to overly convince people that they needed Jamar Chase. Well, they don't have Joe Burrow needs Jamar Chase. He doesn't have anyone he could throw to. I mean, I'm like, well, last year T. Higgins was like this great 1-2 punch, having him and having him and Boyd and everything like that. But then Bengals fans try to convince you that those two are garbage, and that's why they needed Jamar Chase. And now that they have Jamar Chase, now everyone's like, we have the best receiving core in the in the AFC North. Well, the one thing I found interesting is that Pro Football Focus released their rankings, the 32 best wide receivers entering the 2021 NFL season. And you want to talk about elite weapons. The Cincinnati Bengals only have one wide receiver on this list of 32, and they come in at number 32, and they said the only reason they're putting this individual there is because he shows some promise, and it's not because they actually believe that he's one of the best 32 wide receivers in football, and that's Tyler Boyd. No T. Higgins. They didn't put Jamar Chase on there. Found that interesting because Pro Football Focus has when they did their quarterback rankings, they ranked they had Justin Fields. They had 8 quarterbacks worse than Justin Fields on there, and he hasn't even taken a snap, and you don't even know if he's going to take a snap as the starter. So when I say that the Browns and the Bengals have a position group that are both extremely overrated, I think it's the wide receiving core for both. The Cincinnati Bengals have one wide receiver that come up on this list of best 32, the 32 best wide receivers entering the 21 NFL season. And that receiver, of course, is none other than Tyler Boyd coming in at number 32. They have Deebo Samuel ahead of him. They have Cooper Kupp ahead of him, Robert Woods, Cortland Sutton from the Broncos, Devontae Parker. And I like Devontae Parker, by the way. Have him on my fantasy team. Had some big weeks last year. Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller. I will say the gap's not large between a lot of these guys. and Tyler Boyd. I do like Tyler Boyd. I think that's a little low, but I do find it interesting that a lot of these lists, I know that it was Bleacher Report that also put out a list as well, and it also had the Browns and the Bengals as not having a top 20 wide receiving core. And I found that very fascinating, mainly because I think that the Browns wide receivers have bigger, sexier names than sexier production. And you can argue that, okay, is the receiving core not as great because the fact that Baker's not, it's not a throw first offense? Is that what's going on? OBJ on this list for Pro Football Focus, Kev, comes in at number 18. He's the first Cleveland Brown on this list. So he's the 18th best receiver in the NFL. So if he's the 18th best receiver in the National Football League, and that's the first Cleveland Brown on this list, that means the Cleveland Browns have their number one receiver is the 18th best receiver in the National Football League. If you keep scrolling down, Kenny Galladay comes in at 19, Corey Davis with the Jets at number 20. Jarvis Landry comes in at 21. So the Cleveland Browns technically have two of the top 21 wide receivers in the National Football League, but I do find that interesting because when you look at the names that are at the top of this list, when you think of the guy, you sit there and say, man, Baker Mayfield has elite weapons. Who has elite weapons? How about Kyler Murray and the Cardinals? He has some elite weapons. He has DeAndre Hopkins. How about Aaron Rodgers, who is the biggest crybaby in the world? I don't have any weapons. Devontae Adams, the number one rated wide receiver in the National Football League. How about Tyreek Hill for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs? Whether it's Justin Fields or Andy Dalton, Allen Robinson with the Bears comes in at number 4. Julio Jones. I bring this up because I said the other day, I was adamant. Someone said, well, the Browns should go after Julio Jones. I said, they're fine. Their receivers are great. They're fine. All of a sudden, Julio Jones doesn't sound like a terrible addition to the Cleveland Browns. They're one of the few teams that can actually absorb his contract and to not be a huge cap hit against them even heading into next season. Another team that's on that list as well, the Tennessee Titans. They also have A.J. Brown, who comes in at number 6 on this list. Michael Thomas with the Saints at number 7. And Stephon Diggs for, obviously, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Now, with all of that being said, where are you with this list, and what does that mean about the perception of the wide receiving core for the Browns and the Bengals? I look at the Browns like, man, that roster, OBJ's name is bigger than his production.
Yes.
And to me, it's false hope. I don't know what you want to call it. Like, OBJ has to produce. Maybe it is Baker Mayfield, but you know what? Baker Mayfield produced big time. In fact, he was way better without him last year. And I'm not saying that's all on OBJ. I think it could be but my problem with that is, in the history of the National Football League, have you ever heard of a good quarterback not being able to find a way to make an elite wide receiver work? So is OBJ overrated? I have always argued that no, he's not overrated. He's one of the best wide receivers in football. But who is to blame? Is it Baker Mayfield's fault for not being able to make it work with him, or is it OBJ's fault for not being able to make it work with Baker Mayfield? Because Eli Manning was an old age quarterback whose numbers were not good at all, but yet you had OBJ putting up career best numbers, historical best numbers at that time. So how elite is the Browns wide receiving core, Kev? Because they have 2 of the top 21 wide receivers here, but I do find it interesting that there are 17 wide receivers that make this list before you even get to the number 1 wide receiver, at least on the depth chart for the Cleveland Browns, and Odell Beckham Jr. Drop back a couple more, and there's Jarvis Landry. How good is the Browns wide receiving core? Is it overrated? I said, if you would have asked me a week ago, I said, oh no, there's one of the best wide receiving cores in football. Now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, maybe it is. How do you, if your number 1 wide receiver is only the 18th best wide receiver in the National Football League, and you look at Aaron Rodgers, and you look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at everyone else, they have top 10 wide receivers all in their, repertoire. I find this conversation interesting. And your thoughts too on the Bengals. I like their wide receiving core. I think it's pretty solid. But no T. Higgins. Tyler Boyd comes in at number 32. Jamar Chase will be on that list by a year from now when this list comes out. Jamar Chase will be on there. I think T. Higgins could be on there. I think the Bengals could have 3 wide receivers on that list a year from now if Joe Burrow could take that next step forward, if he could even take a step. So that's going to be the big thing for the Cincinnati Bengals. But how overrated? Which wide receiving core is more overrated in your opinion?
Ooh. Run down the top 10 for me one more time, the top 10.
So the top 10 is this. I'll just do it quickly. Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, and 6, Allen Robinson, Julio Jones, and A.J. Brown. And then you look at 7, 8, and 9 is Michael Thomas, Stephon Diggs, and Adam Thielen, and then Justin Jefferson. So the Vikings, by the way, have 2 of the top 10 wide receivers. And no one talks about his weapons the way we build up the Browns. I know I do it, but you hear national pundits do it too. Baker Mayfield has elite weapons all around him. I don't think he has elite weapons all around him. He has an elite run game, an elite offensive line, a very good tight end, but my mind's changed. These wide receivers are not elite. It actually is one of the few areas that they could improve on, which is why the Julio Jones thing I'm not totally against like I was a week ago, but I'll let you continue your point.
No, I just wanted to just hear those names again. Okay, for me, I have been a person that said that OBJ, his whole career was made off that catch he had as a rookie with the one hand on the sideline, outstanding catch and everything like that. OBJ has not had a spectacular year in the NFL since I want to say 16. Yeah, that was the year that they lost in the playoffs after the bye week and the Miami trip and everything like that. He dropped a ton of passes in the playoff game in Green Bay. Then the year after that, he got hurt. And then the year after that, he played banged up. Then the year after that, traded to the Browns and played banged up. And then this year, he played, and he was actually playing well, in my opinion, and then ended up getting hurt. So that's like 5 years since he had a big-time season, in my opinion. For me, the best receiver on the team is Jarvis Landry. And I say that because Jarvis Landry is available and he makes the tough catches across the field and everything like that. I would say it's above average. I say the receiving core is above average, but like you just ran down the top 10 with Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, you got 2 of the top 10 guys. That don't mean you winning no Super Bowl. I mean, Randy Moss and Tom Brady were on the same team for 5 years. They didn't win a Super Bowl either. And you just don't necessarily need, quote unquote, these superstar wide receivers to win a Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown played together for 8 seasons. They went to 1 Super Bowl, and that's when Antonio Brown was a punt returner. You know what I mean? So just because you have the best receiver in the league does not necessarily mean it's going to translate to victories, and the most important victory, the Super Bowl. As far as who's more overrated, I never personally rated the Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver core like elite. I think T. Higgins is going to be a real good receiver in the NFL. From all accounts, Chase is going to be a real good receiver in the NFL. But for my money, it goes deeper than just the talent that you guys have at receivers. It's the guy calling the plays. And Stefanski's offense is dummy proof. Look at the backup quarterback, Case Keenum. He was in the MVP discussion when he was with the Vikings, and Stefanski was calling the plays. It is dummy proof. This dude knows what he's doing. So you can have Julio or you cannot have Julio. Still going to probably produce the same amount of points. Like, I just think that the play caller is far more important than the actual weapons on these particular teams.
Yeah, but I don't know if Patrick Mahomes is elite Patrick Mahomes if he doesn't have Tyreek Hill, and he doesn't have, he has lost. Look at the fact Sammy Watkins, some of those guys gone now too. But those guys, their job, Aaron Rodgers was an MVP. Aaron Rodgers isn't winning that MVP if he doesn't have Adams. I don't think that I would argue that without Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams doesn't develop into the receiver he was, because Devontae was a 3rd-round receiver out of Fresno State. I believe that's where he went to college, and he led the league in drops his first 2 seasons in the NFL. And that was like when Jordy Nelson was still there with them. I would say that it's the shift in focus to how the plays are called for the Green Bay Packers with their new head coach, and emphasis on the running game instead of just like, all right, we drop it back 40 times. They've mixed in the run a ton, which opened things up for Devontae Adams. I think that elite wide receivers and elite quarterbacks, they develop a chemistry together. So I don't think you could just say, like, all right, we're going to plug in this great receiver with this bum quarterback and say, like, all right, take us to the next level, or vice versa. I don't think that an elite quarterback could go to a team with guys that just haven't ever produced and they have this magical production season. I just don't think it. I think they have to have some type of chemistry together for them to produce. And the Browns have a chemistry with Baker Mayfield and Landry and drawing a blank on his name. Rashard Higgins.
Higgins. He has the most chemistry with Higgins, and also the rookie from Michigan, Donovan Peoples-Jones. They have tremendous chemistry. So I would want my QB and receivers to have chemistry like those dudes have over like a bunch of dudes with a whole bunch of names and talent.
When a team wins a Super Bowl with your best receiver being the level of Jarvis Landry, I'd be more confident in that statement. My thing is this: I think that the Cincinnati Bengals don't have an elite wide receiver right now. And shut up if you're going to bring up the rookie, because we don't know anything about what the rookie. Last year, we thought the Raiders had the number one rookie wide receiver until the season actually got here, and then look what happened. I don't care what people say about Jamar Chase. I just got done saying I think he's going to most likely be on this list a year from now when it comes out, but you don't know. We don't know. So as of right now, I look at this Bengals wide receiving core, and I'm just like, it's okay. It's okay. You know, good for Joe Burrow for making that work with a bad offensive line and, you know, able to move the ball up and down the field the way that he did, at least between the 20s. Obviously, the red zone got a little dicey at that point. But keep in mind, you know, as far as the Cleveland Browns are concerned, they're stacked on both sides of the ball. They have a great secondary, great pass rush. You know, they got a good linebacker in the draft, of course, the best run game in football, best offensive line in football. They're in a position. I don't know why the Browns don't get brought up more to go after Julio Jones, because there's not a whole lot of needs on that team. And when you don't have a whole lot of holes to fill, now you can start focusing on the wants instead of the needs. Like, there's not a lot of needs, so now the Browns get to have fun with the wants. Yeah. The Bengals skip steps. That's why they got Jamar Chase. They should not have got Jamar Chase. They should have got Penei Sewell. Again, we've had that argument. I'm not trying to rewind back to January, February, March shows, but they skip steps, and they're gonna fail for it. They will be punished like the Browns were. The Browns tried to skip steps when they went and got OBJ. When they moved on from Zeitler so that they can go get OBJ, the offensive line took a hit. All of a sudden, the run game was still okay, but it wasn't as elite as what it could have been. And the passing game was bad. Baker threw a lot of interceptions, got sacked 3 times the amount he did his rookie year, and they were not as good. They skipped steps, and that's what the Bengals have done. They have skipped steps, so they will be punished for it. They'll be a joke. They'll finish in last. I've been saying it all along. The Browns right now are in a position where they can go after once because they already addressed all their needs. Their run game set. Their offensive line set. They have great tight ends. They have very good wide receivers. Their secondary, best in football, in my opinion, or at least the deepest in football. Linebackers improved from a year ago. Pass rush is fantastic. To me, if I'm the Cleveland Browns, I definitely go. And the most important thing of all that, Kev, they have the cap space. Yeah, they have the cap space to make it work, and it's not going to debilitate them moving forward because they can also move on from that contract at the end of the year as well if they wanted to. So, I still think that you have to give the OBJ. It's not going to happen. They're not going to go get Julio Jones, but I mean, they're one of the few teams that I think makes a lot of sense. The Titans keep getting brought up and mentioned as far as that goes. San Francisco is being brought up a lot. Can you imagine being Trey Lance? Like, I know Garoppolo right now, they keep saying he's the guy, but can you imagine being Trey Lance? Even if in your second year in the league, you have Julio Jones and you have all those weapons that they have on that offense with that defense. Good for Trey Lance, man. He's set up for success right off the bat. The Patriots, imagine being Mac Jones. You know, Mac Jones to Julio Jones, and you look at the great tight ends that they have, that offensive line. I mean, look, that's going to be something interesting to follow as well.
So I know I asked you before. So we ran through the top 10, but Chris Godwin's not on that list. Mike Evans is not on that list. Antonio Brown's not on the top 10. Those just win the Super Bowl. That's just my point. Like, I think that you can get and win Super Bowls with guys that aren't top 10. I don't think that you necessarily have to have a top 10 wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. Like, I mean, Tom Brady and Edelman won plenty of Super Bowls. Edelman was never a top 10 receiver in the league. So I think we always want our teams to have, our quarterback's in the top 5, our receiving core is in the top 5. You don't necessarily need that.
But you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin come in at 12 and 13.
Yeah,
Calvin Ridley's at 11.
It's like in that pack of guys, like I don't like it, like you said before, we're splitting hairs. But like when you say, all right, he's a top 10 guy, I don't necessarily believe that you need a top 10 guy to win a Super Bowl. I just don't see it that way. Like, I guess like if things would have went the other way and you could have blocked it up a little bit better with Kansas City, you would have probably had obviously Tyreek Hill and, Kelsey is basically a wide receiver, so it could have went the other way. I just think that, you can win with guys that are rated the 12th and 20th rated receiver in the NFL. I mean, the Browns were knocking on the door to be in the AFC Championship game last year. So, I mean, like you said before, though, they're in a position where they can roll the dice on anything because they have the cap space and they can go for it. And they've proven that they're going for it by the defensive signings that they did. So if they go out there, but the only thing that I would say, I would not be willing to give up no first round for Julio Jones.
Why not?
I'm not giving up a first round pick for Julio Jones right now. Like, we look at AJ Green is like, and we're so close to the AJ Green situation. We're like, man, he's always hurt. Well, not AJ Green, but Julio is, I won't say just as banged up as AJ Green, but he was banged up a lot as well. And they're the same age. I would want to hang on to my first round picks. You can have some thirds, you can have some fourths, but first rounders, like, I got to keep those, man. I got to keep those.
I get it, but I also think that, I mean, if you're talking about like the Cincinnati Bengals giving up a first round to get him, that's stupid because the Bengals aren't close to being a good football team. So giving up a first to bring him in would make absolutely zero sense. But sometimes it's not the value of the player in exchange for the pick. It's the value of the situation that the teams are in. A first round, the Browns are going to win. They're going to win the division or lose the division by a game. They're winning the division in my eyes. So
is the wide receiver a position of need or just a position that you want to be better?
It's both, because if OBJ was OBJ, I would say, no, we don't need, because that's where I was at with this. But then when I'm looking at these lists and I'm just looking, I mean, the Browns aren't in a position to gamble.
They got you. Hook, line, and sinker.
They're not in a position to gamble at this point. So what I mean by it's not the value of the pick has to be the value of the player. It's the value of the player and the circumstance for the value of the pick. Julio Jones, going to any team for a first round pick, absolutely not. You know, if you look at a team that's going to be picking in the top 10, like the Bengals will be picking in the top 10 again. Okay. So the Bengals are going to have a top 10 pick next year. Trading a top 10 pick to get Julio Jones is kind of stupid, is very stupid. That doesn't make any sense. It's almost as stupid as drafting a wide receiver over an offensive lineman when your quarterback looked like Stone Cold Steve Austin walking into OTAs yesterday. I've never seen a knee brace that big in my life, to be honest with you. But anyways, so my point is the Cleveland Browns are going to win the division. They're going to be picking 27th, 28th. So I don't think that the 28th overall pick has as much value as a number 7 pick or a number 6 pick. So I do believe that because it's going to be that 26, 27, 28, or number 32, huh? Maybe they have the number. So I'm going to say the 29th. Let's say the Cleveland Browns have the 29th pick next year. I'll be real. It's 28. Okay, they have the 28th pick next year. You're willing to say you're not willing to give up the 28th pick for a player to come to a roster that already has stacked on defense, it's already stacked on offense, that if you're going to nitpick the offense, you can always say, hey, we can always get better at wide receiver. So that's why I think that the circumstances matter. I agree with you. Wide receiver for a first-round pick, that's kind of dumb, but because of the circumstances, because of where Julio Jones could take the Browns to that next level, it's where OBJ should have taken them, but that's clearly, it hasn't worked yet. I still think that it can, but if Julio Jones is available and you can grab him and you know what he is, I think that that's something that, you know, for more peace of mind as far as that goes. But it's not going to happen. Julio Jones is not going to the Cleveland Browns, but I'm surprised you're not hearing more of that just because I think that it makes a lot of sense. The Packers getting Julio Jones makes a lot of sense. If they knew, this is why Aaron Rodgers, I blame him for this too. He wants the Packers to make it better. How are they supposed to make it better? This reminds me of when LeBron James, we talked about this yesterday, when LeBron James wanted Shabazz Napier, that last year he was with the Heat, and, you know, they already had Norris Cole. They already had point guards, you know, so Pat Riley didn't want Shabazz Napier. He didn't want that. LeBron did. And they didn't know if LeBron was going to up and leave and return to Cleveland or come back. But Pat Riley was like, well, let's just go ahead and give him what he wants. We'll draft Shabazz Napier because that's what LeBron wants. They drafted Shabazz Napier, and LeBron bounced and went back to Cleveland. now, so this real quick, so this Aaron Rodgers situation, it's tough on the Packers because you want us to make it better. Gutekunst or whatever his name is, he already said, my bad. I read this morning. He came out and announced, my bad. I mishandled that situation with Jordan Love. I should have communicated better. That is all on me. So they've already publicly acknowledged they screwed up. You've already said that you want them to make it right, but you're not doing your part to put them in a. It's like in a relationship when one's cheated on the other and they're both trying to make it work. And they're like, well, you need to make this right, but they're not doing anything to help make it right. Like they're just going to continue to keep pointing out your flaws, and then it goes in circles. Aaron Rodgers needed to be at OTAs. He's in Jamaica or Hawaii right now, just on vacation and stuff. That's not a good look. That's not him being a leader. I don't care if he's having issues with the front office. So the Packers are in a position they could get Julio Jones because they're also going to have a draft pick that's at about 27, 28. So they can give up that draft pick to get Julio Jones. And now you have Adams and Julio Jones, and you have a 1,000-yard running back, and you have that great offensive line, and your defense is solid. Like at that point, this is on Aaron Rodgers. If the Packers can't get better moving forward, it's because the front office isn't going to do what the Miami Heat did with LeBron James. And, well, let's just draft the player that he wanted to make him happy so that we have a better chance of keeping him. and then he bolts, and now you have a rookie that you didn't want to begin with. So the Packers, they're not going to give up a draft pick, even if it's a second or a third, to get Julio Jones so that Jordan Love can have Adams and Julio Jones. I mean, got to love it, but I don't know if Love's at that level yet to be able to maximize that. That could be a recipe for disaster. So I don't know. I'm very interested in how that's going to pan out. But Aaron Rodgers, I defended him yesterday, but today, stop being a crybaby. Get your ass to camp, or just acknowledge you are not coming back.
It's voluntary.
But Aaron Rodgers is doing this thing that I don't like, Kev, where he's doing this whole like, well, they need to make it better. No, you're either coming back or you're not. I have no problem if you just come out and say trade me. At least they could start planning to move forward then. But right now they're in that limbo. They're in that Pat Riley stage with LeBron. They don't know if he's staying. They don't know if he's going, and they don't know what decisions to make now to try to make it better. Shabazz Napier for LeBron. LeBron bounces. Now you have a rookie you don't want. Julio Jones for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers ends up bouncing. Now you just traded away a first-round pick to get Julio Jones, and you have big question marks at quarterback, and now you have really expensive wide receivers that you normally don't get anyways. It's a mess. Aaron Rodgers, stop being a diva. What is pain in the ass for 500? Aaron Rodgers.
Let's be clear. The Packers trade to get Julio Jones, and they got Davante Adams. 12 walking through that door like, hey, what's up, guys?
I mean, Brett Favre might be coming back for another year. Brett Favre hasn't come out of retirement in a while. I'm just saying.
He's showing up like, oh, we got these two dudes. Let's play ball. I don't care who I like. I can win with these dudes for sure.
All right, we'll be back in a moment. Hour 3 next. The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers and Orion Sports Medicine.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
All right, we've got lucky caller number 4, Marcus, on the line. If he answers this question, he wins a new car.
Let's do this.
Okay, for a new car, name the only actor to appear in...
And now a message from our sponsor.
With 24/7 support and quick and easy claims, Progressive protects what matters most. Progressive.
Films all in the same year.
Wait, sorry, I didn't hear the question.
3 seconds, Marcus.
Yeah, no, but there was an ad in the middle.
You didn't answer.
But I didn't hear anything.
Marcus, you dropped it in the dirt.
Progressive. There's never a bad time for great protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
It's all about getting the most out of summer. And with certified refurbished from eBay, you can enjoy 100% of summer with up to 50% savings on top brands, plus a 15% off coupon through Memorial Day. So tackle your to-do list and break out the playlist with like new products from the brands you love. We're talking Bose, Works, iRobot, and more, all at up to 50% savings. And now through Memorial Day, get an extra 15% off coupon to save even more with certified refurbished. Shop Memorial Day savings at eBay today.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring owner, operator, and fleet owners. Dedicated home daily round trip lanes. That's right, round trip, get paid for all miles, 100% no-touch freight. Cordell is offering great pay, a discounted fuel program, and free on-site truck parking, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus per truck. Take advantage of the dedicated round trip miles, sign-on bonus, and home every day or every other day. Go online to CordellTransportation.com to apply today. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Cars and parts, swap meet and car show, bring the family.
Hot rods, muscle cars, classics. You've got to see Cars and Parts Giant Swap Meeting Car Show this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. Great family fun. Bargains on everything automotive, from railroad parts to racing collectibles. You've got to be there this weekend at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. Call 937-376-0111 for details.
Cars and parts, swap meet and car show, bring the family.
O'Reilly. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get up to a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power and capacity your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are designed for lasting performance and consistent starts. Turn the key with confidence with Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jess's 30-minute bike boot camp? I guess it's that kind of day.
Are you ready for a total body workout, Peloton fam?
I am.
We'll start the class on the bike and then move to the floor. Let's get it.
With Peloton instructors right in your home,
Are you feeling it yet? Let's keep pushing for 5.
you have motivation that's ready when you are.
Clip off that bike and meet me on the mat for lunges.
I got this.
You showed up today, Peloton. Who's feeling sweaty and strong?
Definitely me.
Tap into your motivation at onepeloton.com.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider and are only available if the provider determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. You pay just $30 for a month's supply. And right now, get your first online doctor's visit totally free. 4hims.com/radio. That's right, free. Zero copay, no expensive appointments, no awkward face-to-face conversations to get your prescription. Hims connects you to doctors online who can evaluate you and, if appropriate, prescribe your ED medication. And a pharmacy sends it right to your door. Hims makes it affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
With certified refurbished from eBay, you can enjoy summer with up to 50% savings on top brands. Plus, now through Memorial Day, get an extra 15% off coupon. Shop Memorial Day savings at eBay.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Fox Tonight. It's a night of celebration and shocking reveals.
You are a mega star.
As the final 3 Masked Singers are unmasked and the winner is crowned.
The Masked Singer finale!
Can America's best bakers piece together what dessert was made in this kitchen?
Cinnamon, powdered sugar.
Then bake a gourmet version of their own.
This is delicious.
But did you make the right dessert?
Oh. Joel McHale hosts Crime Scene Kitchen, premiering after the Masked Singer finale. Fox Tonight.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
It's time for some straight talk. You've got real work to do, but everyone's sucking up the free Wi-Fi faster than a Mocha Choco double frap on ice. So be your own hotspot. Now with Straight Talk Wireless, get 10 gigs of hotspot data with the ultimate unlimited plan. Just $55 a month on America's largest and most dependable networks. You don't have to find a hotspot. You are the hotspot. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
can't take this
I have
anymore.
nowhere to go. I lost my job.
I feel alone.
Crisis Text Line is here to help day or night. Text 4HOPE to 741-741 for free and confidential support. Text with a trained volunteer to move from that hot moment to a cool calm.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
You may have heard that Allstate has new low auto rates, but isn't it time to see for yourself? Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
The Reds are on the radio. Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. It's live, it's local, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Kirkland and Sommers.
We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube, The Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Search it, like it, follow along, watch the show live weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. We're also on YouTube, ESPN Dayton on YouTube. Make sure you go and check that out as well. So the reason when you watch us live on Facebook and YouTube, you get to interact with the show, leave your comments and opinions in the chat section. We'll pull your comment in unless you're David Shaw. What? Anyways, man. Nope. He's off the hook. He ain't calling in. He Facebooking it. Nope. No. But to the Facebook chat we go. This comes from Jeff. Jeff says, well said, Kev. OBJ, the most overrated receiver in the league. I'd trade him and a pick for Julio all day. Jeff, I'm assuming is a Bengals fan. Based on the profile picture, but I don't think OBJ is the most overrated receiver in the league. I think right now that's an incomplete because I don't think we know, is the struggles in Cleveland OBJ based or are they Baker? And I know that it's not as simple as 100% you, 0% you. I think both play a role in it. But this is one of those where I want to give it the benefit of the doubt and just say, this is just one of those things where there's just no chemistry. It just doesn't work. And when we say there's no chemistry, it doesn't mean they don't like each other, but from a competitive athletic chemistry standpoint, there's something not there. But the reason I have to blame Baker for this, Kev, for it not working with OBJ is because I have never, ever, ever in the history of football heard of a quarterback not being able to make it work with an elite wide receiver. And OBJ is an elite wide receiver. Those numbers it wasn't a one-hit wonder. It wasn't just I know he's known for that catch and everything like that, but the numbers don't lie. When you look at when you look at the records he was setting in his first 2 years in the league alone, I mean, yes, is known for that big catch, of course, don't get me wrong, but the how quickly he shot up the history books with what he was doing in New York. There's a reason he got paid the way he did. There's a reason he got traded the way he did. But at the same time, it's because the Giants were dumb enough to pay him as they were embarking on a rebuild.
Right.
OBJ didn't, and people they forget. No, man, his diva personality got him kicked out of New York. That's not what got him kicked out of New York. The Giants were not willing, as they started noticing Eli's career was done. They realized they had no succession plan at quarterback, and they had to rebuild. So they paid OBJ the money, and then when they realized they were going in the rebuild, that's the number. There's a lot of positions you start prioritizing, but that's the one position that you do not need to be holding on to any kind of dumb cap space issues to when you're rebuilding. That's why they traded him. They didn't trade him because they couldn't handle him. If they couldn't handle him, they wouldn't have given him the extension to begin with. They would have moved on from him when they had the opportunity. So that I've always defended OBJ in that. I think that the perception of him is way off. I don't think that narrative's accurate, that he's this cancer in the locker room. Yes, he's a me guy. Every receiver is. Every wide receiver is. Yes, there's the Larry Fitzgeralds of the world, and Jerry Rice was never that way either. But most receivers are that way, and most organizations know how to win with them. So it's not a big deal. I just don't know if this is on OBJ or if it's on Baker. I want to say it's more Baker because Baker's very quirky as a quarterback. OBJ, I mean, he made it work with Eli Manning, and Eli Manning wasn't a top 10 quarterback. So let's give that a break right there.
I want to touch on the trading OBJ for Julio, like Atlanta. Why would they do that? They will be moving on from a high price receiver to another high price receiver. They're trying to get below the cap so they can make more moves and everything like that. So they wouldn't do that. I will want to know from the listening audience what they think is a fair trade for Julio. I know you talked about a number one for the Browns, but what's a fair trade for your team if you want them? You know, if there's any Ravens fans out there listening, if there's any Broncos fans,
Titans
fans, you know, what would they be willing to give up for Julio?
Well, on top of that, too, by the way, earlier when I said when people say, oh, no, he's not worth the first round, as I said earlier, I think it matters where in the first round. I don't think the 27th pick in the first round is unmovable. I don't think that, no, man, you just I don't think you set, if you lose the 27th pick in the draft in the first round, I don't think you've set your franchise back years. I do believe if you make a mistake picking in the top 10, it may not set you back years, but I mean, it could, especially if you look at the talent around them of the pick that you made. If you look at the pieces around the talent that you picked and selected, and that's a bust, then you could start looking at, oh man, how much further along we would be if we had him? You know, how much further along would they be had they selected Patrick Mahomes? You know, right. How much further along, you know, and you could say that about every team out there that passed on those guys. But
I did want to say this real quick too. Well, this is more than 2 years ago. I'm pulling up this article, but the Cleveland Browns traded a first round, a third round, and a safety Drew Peppers for Odell Beckham Jr.
Zeitler wasn't a part of that?
I'm trying to find the rest. Yeah, Zeitler.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought Zeitler was a part of that. And I forgot. Yeah. Okay, and Coleman?
Jabril Peppers.
So Jabril Peppers was part of that. And see, that's a lot. I mean, they got a lot, but it's a ton, but it's different, though, because the Giants, yes, were moving on from the contract, but at the same time, they had just signed the contract. So you were basically trading for a full contracted OBJ. It wasn't like Julio, who's at the tail end of his contract. Right. So my point was earlier when I said I'm fine with if the Browns or someone that's a really good team gives up a first round to get them, it's not as big a deal as a rebuilding team doing it, which I don't anticipate that. But I do not believe that the Falcons are in. They don't have leverage here. I mean, they need to get rid of him because of the cap space issue.
Right.
So they need to move him more than the teams need to, attain him. So that's kind of where I'm at with that as far as that's concerned. But no, OBJ, I do not think he's the most overrated wide receiver in the league. I don't put him there at all. Until the only way I'll say OBJ is the most overrated wide receiver in the league is if his next stop he's still not producing, then it's like, okay, then that's on him. Right now, I'm putting the blame on Baker because I think it's Baker. I've never heard of a quarterback that can't make it work with an elite wide receiver. I just that's the strangest thing in the world to me. That's why this topic that seems like it's brought up a lot in a lot of shows, it gets brought up, and there's always like confused people that say, how can the Browns be better without OBJ? It's because it's Baker. It's Baker Mayfield who can't figure out how to play with an elite wide receiver. Everyone's like, oh, but he's so focused about getting the number one receiver of the ball. You're always going to have a number one wide receiver. If you get Julio Jones, so are you saying that Baker can't play with Julio Jones then? Are you saying that if the Browns ever got Devontae Adams, that Baker couldn't play with him? So are the Haslams and not Dorsey, obviously, but is the GM going to have to sit there and be terrified of getting an elite wide receiver every time because Baker doesn't know how to control himself when he has a number one wide receiver? That's where I'm at with that as far as that goes. Another comment on Facebook. Vincent Waller says, you guys keep talking about the Green Bay Packers as if they're helpless in this Rodgers situation. He goes on to say Green Bay is and has been one of the best run franchises in all of sports for decades. They aren't going to panic and trade Rodgers just because he's throwing a hissy fit. Vince, I don't know what you're hearing, but I never once said that they are helpless. In fact, yesterday I went on this long tangent defending the Packers, saying that I think Aaron Rodgers is full of crap. I mean, when he sits there, he's trying to get people to feel sorry for him. He wants to throw this little pity party about how poorly run the organization is. I said the organization is not run poorly. They handled the transition from Brett Favre to him smoothly. Brett Favre's the one that made it bumpy a little bit because he was so indecisive, when to retire, when not to be retired, and everything like that. But I said they've provided him with weapons. He has a 1,000-yard running back. He has a great offensive line. He has the number one receiver in the NFL. They have a great defense. They're winning the division. They've been to the NFC or the NFC title title game 3 the last 5 years. So, Vince, I don't know what you thought you heard, but I never said that the Packers organization was bad. They are a great organization. But I will say this, to sit there and act like the organization is so good that they're cocky enough to sit there and not trade Aaron Rodgers and just put up with him sitting out and not playing, you have to get something in return for Aaron Rodgers, and you can get a lot in return for Aaron Rodgers. You say they're a great organization. Kev, they're a dumb organization if they don't trade him and get something for him if he doesn't want to play there. And I don't care how good of an organization you are, your quarterback leaves, you're not just going to keep on going all like nothing happened. Look at the Patriots. The Patriots are the best run organization in football. They didn't look like it last year without Tom Brady. So we'll see. It is very important that the Packers move on from him if he doesn't want to be there. And maybe the Packers just say, you know what? We're not waiting for you to make a decision. We're tired of this. We're moving on from you now anyways. There you go. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on the other side of the break. I hate the NBA. No one watches the NBA. The NBA playoffs have started. Go woke, go broke. We've heard it all. No one watches the NBA. Remember last year when the NBA ratings were plummeting? They were horrible. No one was watching the NBA, and everyone said it was because, well, you go woke, you go broke. Well, for those people who like to ride that message, it's a tough day to be you because you're dead wrong. We'll talk about that next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be cloudy with showers and possibly a thunderstorm, a high near 80. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low near 58. And tomorrow's going to be partly cloudy, a high near 82. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces around your home, office, or commercial property. Crack filling, asphalt sealing, and parking lot striping. Find us at culletsealcoating.com.
BC Powder knows life pushes us to the max. Work to the max. Family to the max. It can all mean pain to the max. So try new BC Max Strength. New BC Max relieves tough headaches and body pain at the speed of powder. Nothing stronger on pain without a prescription. Pain to the max? New BC Max. In a great tasting lemonade flavor. Available at Walmart.
Clay's Cleaning Service has a spotless reputation.
Take care of the windows. Hello, this is Clay.
But his business operations could use a light dusting.
I had you scheduled for next week. I'll just check here. No, absolutely. We will be there tomorrow.
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager, Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need service, we're here. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays from 6 to 8, and Saturdays from 7 to 5. We proudly offer a state-of-the-art facility with factory-trained technicians, clean waiting room, and service department. Loaner cars are available during service, and free alignment checks with any service. Be sure to stop in and ask for our $39.95 oil change special. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, State Route 35, east of 675, between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation.